Chapter 386. With just a single word, he forced countless nascent soul realm and divine transformation realm experts to retreat, and even injured 3 void refinement realm experts. Ning Fan was speechless. This Yin Tianjue's ferocity was even beyond his expectations. Ning Fan agreed with Yin Tianjue's style. Since the other party mentioned the Rain Sovereign's order, it was impossible for him to be allowed into Snow Country, no matter how much he begged. He might as well just barge in recklessly, and no one would really dare to stop him. Yin Tianjue's expression remained cold, as if it was an extremely common thing for him to injure nearly 10,000 experts with just a single word. The sword light shrouded the two of them as they shuttled through the wind and snow. Half a day later, they had traveled 1 billion li. At the end of the vast snowfield, among the mountains, a snow valley slowly appeared in front of them. It was in the shape of a dragon. Outside the snow valley, Yin Tianjue kept his sword light and landed in the wind and snow with Ning Fan. His eyes looked solemn for the first time. This place was the Dragon Deciding Valley. After entering the valley, follow me closely. Don't leave my side. Don't ask too many questions, and don't talk too much. This valley lord's temper isn't too good. Yin Tianjue took a step forward and entered the valley. Ning Fan immediately followed behind him while complaining inwardly. What kind of identity does this valley lord have? How could his temper be worse than Yin Tianjue's? The valley was peaceful. The path was winding and only the whistling of the wind could be heard. But this peaceful snowy scene revealed a strange atmosphere. Deep snow caves could be seen everywhere along the mountain walls of the snowy valley. When Ning Fan and Yin Tianjue passed by one of the caves, they suddenly heard an ear-piercing howl of a beast. At the next moment, hundreds and thousands of shadows of beasts shot out from the caves, roaring and rushing towards them. This group of beasts was actually all at the divine transformation realm and above. There were even more than 10 void refinement realm ferocious beasts among them. Don't be impulsive. If you injure half of the blood fiends, you won't be able to walk out of the Dragon Deciding Valley alive. That person's temper is really bad. Yin Tianjue's cold words were filled with a hint of warning. Then he took a step forward and a trace of cold sword intent suddenly swept across 10,000 li. As the sword intent spread out, the thousands of beasts' eyes were filled with fear. They shrieked miserably. All of them had a sword mark on their necks. The sword mark was only half an inch deep. As the sword light slashed past, Yin Tianjue sliced off a lot of demonic blood from each of the demonic beasts. Then he shook the blood gourd and collected all the demonic blood. If the sword wound was any deeper, even if these blood fiends did not die, they would be severely injured. Ning Fan cursed inwardly. Yin Tianjue had just told him not to be impulsive and not to hurt the blood fiends, but he had directly bullied this group of blood fiends. Scram! Yin Tianjue's eyes darkened, and a vast and ferocious aura spread out. The group of beasts was greatly alarmed, and they fled for their lives. This scene deepened Ning Fan's understanding of Yin Tianjue. Yin Tianjue's ferocious might was completely scarier than a void refinement realm ferocious beast. Enter the valley. After Yin Tianjue gave the order, he walked alone in the wind and snow. Ning Fan's eyes swept across the surroundings. Many of the ferocious beasts in the surroundings were filled with fear. However, there were still a few ferocious beasts that were hiding in the dark. Their eyes were staring at Ning Fan with drool dripping from their mouths, as if they were looking at a delicious dish. With a frown, Ning Fan quickly followed behind Yin Tianjue. He could imagine that if he keeps a distance from Yin Tianjue, he would certainly be attacked by the group of ferocious beasts. Even Ning Fan might not be able to survive. Humph! A displeased cold snort resounded from the depths of the snow valley. It seemed to be the voice of an old man. This voice carried the powerful attack of a void fragmentation realm attack. It swept across the place, turning into layers of dark clouds that pressed down from the sky. It was enough to kill all experts below the void fragmentation realm. Even though the aura was strong, it had a sense of propriety. It did not go towards Ning Fan but only attacked Yin Tianjue. Obviously, this old man knew that Ning Fan did not hurt the blood fiends. Hence, he would attack whoever attacked him. He was really clear about his gratitude and grudges. Your aura isn't bad. However, you are not my match. Yin Tianjue's expression was cold and indifferent. He remained unmoved. With one of his fingers he struck out a ray of sword light. All of the old man's aura force was immediately shattered. Boom! The entire snow valley nearly collapsed because of the clash between the two of them. The land within 1,000,000 li rumbled, as if there was an earthquake. Ning Fan was inwardly shocked. Yin Tianjue's casual attack was not inferior to the full power of Ning Fan's steel of sun and moon. Inwardly, he thought that Yin Tianjue and this old man were probably not ordinary void fragmentation realm experts. They would definitely be first-rate experts among the void fragmentation realm experts. However, he did not know who would be stronger if he were to go against Moksha Sovereign. Humph! White-robed sword god, you really live up to your reputation. Let's enter the valley. That voice gradually disappeared in the wind and snow. Yin Tianjue remained unperturbed. He did not even look at Ning Fan, and just walked into the valley. After passing through the layers of mist, it was a quiet and tranquil sea of snow that stretched as far as 10,000 li. Above the sea of blood, there was only a dilapidated thatched hut with faint smoke rising from its chimney. It was extremely incompatible with the lonely snow in the sky. This place gave Ning Fan a rather uncomfortable feeling. If he was not mistaken, the snow region that he entered after passing through the mist was actually another heavenly dwelling space. Opening a heavenly dwelling with a palm. Huh. Ning Fan pondered about the means of a void fragmentation realm old monster. He did not think that it was a complete set of methods. However, he did not understand why Yin Tianjue brought him to this place and why he came to take his blood. Whose blood was he going to take? It was certainly impossible for it to be the blood of the blood fiends from the outside world. Then was he here to take the blood of that void fragmentation realm old monster? As he thought of this, Ning Fan looked at Yin Tianjue with a strange expression. All the void fragmentation realm experts in the Rain World had submitted to the Rain Palace. They were considered as Yin Tianjue's colleagues. This person wouldn't come here to kill the old man and take his blood, would he? Elder Chu, I'm here to take your blood. It has not even been 10 years. You haven't prepared your dragon blood yet. An impatient voice resounded from the thatched hut. Then 6 figures walked out. Among the 6 of them, one was an old man while the other was a middle-aged man. Behind them were 4 divine transformation realm experts. The old man was the one who rejected Yin Tianjue. He had fiery red hair, and was wearing a hemp robe. His body was surrounded by fiery qi, and he did not seem to care about the cold wind and snow at all. His cultivation base was at the void fragmentation realm. The middle-aged man beside him was dressed in green robes. His body was surrounded by billowing clouds. When he glanced at Ning Fan felt a sharp pain in his primordial spirit, and was secretly surprised. This middle-aged man in green robes was also a void fragmentation realm expert. 3 void fragmentation realm experts actually came to the dragon deciding valley of Snow Country at the same time today. Yin Tianjue, long time no see. You're still alive. You have the sin mark on your body and your cultivation base is sealed at the first layer. This feeling isn't good, is it? The eyes of the middle-aged man in green robes turned gloomy, and he glanced at Yin Tianjue in an extremely unfriendly manner. Yin Tianjue did not even look at him. Instead, his eyes were fixed on the red-haired old man, and he repeated what he said just now. Elder Chu, I'm here to take your blood. Yin Tianjue, I've already said that there won't be any dragon blood for you within 10 years. I don't have a share. He should have a share. He is the newly promoted revered elder of the Great Heaven Palace. His name is Zhou Ming. According to the rules of the Rain Palace, a newly promoted revered elder will be rewarded with at least a pot of dragon blood. So he is Zhou Ming. Elder Chu's eyes immediately turned strange. The middle-aged man in green robes beside him immediately reprimanded him with a grim expression. You are Zhou Ming. Revered Yin was killed by you? Obviously, that revered Yin was quite related to this void fragmentation realm expert in green robes. Perhaps he was his junior. The middle-aged man in green robes released a strong aura force towards Ning Fan. However, Yin Tianjue flicked his sleeve and dispersed his aura force. Yin Tianjue withdrew his sleeve. He did not even look at the middle-aged man in green robes. His expression was cold and arrogant. Go and take your dragon blood. Yin Tianjue ordered Ning Fan coldly. Ning Fan's mind raced. His eyes scanned the surroundings and he inwardly deduced that Yin Tianjue was not on good terms with that void fragmentation realm expert in green robes. Judging from their positions, the 4 divine transformation realm experts were standing behind the void fragmentation realm expert in green robes. They seemed to be on the same side. That red-haired old man, on the other hand, had an angry expression when facing everyone. He did not seem to be on good terms with the void fragmentation realm expert in green robes, nor Yin Tianjue. After making a detailed analysis, Ning Fan did not even look at that void fragmentation realm expert in green robes. He also did not care about his questioning. Ning Fan was a revered elder of the Rain Palace. A dignified void fragmentation realm expert actually dared to attack Ning Fan in front of him. Ning Fan had nothing to say to such a person. As for offending this person, didn't he already offend him the moment they met? Fortunately, Ning Fan had Yin Tianjue's protection. He was not afraid at all. He just cupped his fists and greeted the red-haired old man. Junior Zhou Ming greets Elder Chu. Before Ning Fan could finish his words, his expression suddenly changed. The red-haired old man grinned his white teeth. His eyes shone brightly, and he pointed one of his fingers at Ning Fan. All of a sudden, a scorching wave of fire rushed towards Ning Fan. It was actually the might of a mortal void flame. If you can withstand this flame, I will give you 3 pots of dragon blood. Elder Chu said with interest. As soon as his words fell, the expressions of all the cultivators, including the void fragmentation realm experts in green robes, changed. 3 pots. Obviously, this amount was a lot for a divine transformation realm revered elder like Ning Fan. Ning Fan's eyes flashed. Although this flame seemed to be powerful, it still held back some of its power. Even if Ning Fan could not withstand this flame, he would not be hurt at all. However, it would be difficult for him to get the dragon blood from that old man. Yin Tianjue brought Ning Fan to the Dragon Deciding Valley. Although it was a test, it was actually to get the dragon blood for Ning Fan. If Ning Fan is afraid of this flame, not only will he lose the supreme treasure of dragon blood, but Yin Tianjue, Elder Chu and the others will also look down on him. Without saying a word, he took a step forward and clawed at the sea of fire with his 5 fingers. A vortex of yin-yang fish rose from the center of his palm. It was actually the fire-plucking technique. As soon as this technique was used, the raging sea of fire immediately disappeared without a trace. All of it was absorbed into Ning Fan's steel of sun and moon. Hiss! Elder Chu took a deep breath. Then his eyes were filled with joy. Good, good. You are indeed worthy of having the indestructible fire physique. Despite having a divine transformation realm cultivation base, you can even withstand the attack of a mortal void flame. You are not bad. Elder Chu slowly walked towards Ning Fan. He patted his storage pouch and took out 3 jade pots. Each of the pots contained some dragon blood. Even though Ning Fan did not know what grade this so-called dragon blood was, he was certain that it was not much weaker than the blood of the divine sovereign that he attracted earlier just by smelling it. Thank you for your generous gift, Elder Chu. Ning Fan cupped his fists to express his gratitude. No need. This is what you deserve. The dragon blood has already been obtained. Yin Tianjue, take this person and leave. The Dragon Deciding Valley does not welcome you. Old Man Chu waved his hand impatiently. Just as he was about to leave, a ray of sword light suddenly appeared on his neck. It was actually Yin Tianjue, who was holding his sword with one hand as if he wanted to kill this void fragmentation realm expert with a single strike. What is the meaning of this? Elder Chu was startled. He actually didn't see how Yin Tianjue attacked. It was too fast. One should know that Elder Chu was a cultivator at the 2nd heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm after all. For him to be unable to see through Yin Tianjue's sword light, it was inexcusable. It was widely rumored in the outside world that Yin Tianjue was just at the 1st layer of the void fragmentation realm. However, it seemed like that was not the case. However, after thinking about it, Elder Chu's face darkened. As one of the void fragmentation realm supremes of the Rain world, he had never had a sword or saber placed on his neck before. Let him go to the blood dragon pool to collect his blood himself. Yin Tianjue said coldly. Impossible. He's only at the peak stage of the soul formation stage. If he enters the blood dragon pool, he'll die for sure. I don't like nonsense. Yin Tianjue didn't give Elder Chu any leeway to refuse. He didn't like to talk nonsense. If Elder Chu rejected his request, his sword would immediately slash down. He didn't like to reason with people. Ning Fan's expression changed, but he did not interrupt. At this moment, he was still confused. He did not know what exactly Yin Tianjue was thinking. He said that it was a test for me. Then he brought me to collect the dragon blood, and even forced a void fragmentation realm expert to submit with his sword and saber. You are ruthless. Fine, this old man will allow him to enter the blood dragon pool. However, if this junior dies, don't blame me. Elder Chu was both angry and curious. He had heard that Yin Tianjue was arrogant and despotic. However, it was his first time seeing this person bringing a junior to obtain the dragon blood. He inwardly guessed that Ning Fan might have some kind of relationship with Yin Tianjue. He won't die. He didn't die even after drinking 3 mouthfuls. How could he die in the blood dragon pool? Yin Tianjue's tone was calm, but it immediately shocked Elder Chu. 3 gulps in a row? Who below the void refinement realm can drink 3 mouthfuls of your blood wine in a row? Elder Chu carefully studied Ning Fan. His eyes were filled with a hint of inquisitiveness. Gradually, he realized that he could not see through this little fellow. After thinking for a while, he finally nodded and agreed to Yin Tianjue's request. All right. I'll make preparations right away, and try to open the blood dragon pool tomorrow. Today, all of you can rest in the dragon deciding valley. As for the rest of you, Elder Chu's gaze shifted to the void fragmentation realm cultivator in green robes and said hesitantly, we might as well open the blood dragon pool. Yin Jinghong, the 4 newly advanced revered elders that you brought here will enter the blood dragon pool tomorrow. From what Elder Chu said, the void fragmentation realm cultivator in green robes was actually the 7th prince of the Rain Palace, Yin Jinghong. As soon as they heard that they were going to enter the blood dragon pool, the eyes of the 4 divine transformation realm cultivators flashed with fear. Only the void fragmentation realm cultivator in green robes nodded with satisfaction. Oh, they can also enter the blood dragon pool? If that's the case, I'll thank Elder Chu on behalf of the 4 juniors for your generous gift. After all, if they can enter the blood dragon pool once, it's definitely a rare experience for them even if they might die. Since we're only going to enter the blood dragon pool tomorrow, can you allow me to settle the old scores with this Yin Tianjue today? Yin Jinghong said the word old scores with great resentment. He took a step forward. His green robes fluttered in the wind. Clouds and chi appeared around his body. The hollow space suddenly collapsed and his aura force was terrifying. White-robed sword god Yin Tianjue. You're just at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. What kind of sword god are you? You're just the son of a divine envoy. If you didn't obtain the inheritance of the sword devil by luck, how could you become a divine son step by step? You're highly regarded by my father, but you didn't think about serving him. Instead, you killed my 4th brother for a woman. I'll settle this score with you today. Yin Tianjue remained silent, but his eyes became slightly cold. You're at the void fragmentation realm, and so am I. Today, I've already reached the bottleneck of the 2nd heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. In time to come, I'll certainly break through to the 2nd heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. You're no match for me. You're just a person who lost your memory. You abandoned your emotions to cultivate the sword, and you can't even remember your own woman. What qualifications do you have to be the leader of the 7th prince? Yin Jinghong sneered. Woman. Yin Tianjue felt a pain in his heart, but he did not know the reason. His eyes became even colder. Someone like you doesn't deserve to obtain the supreme treasure of the Rain Palace. Profound Radiance Blood Gourd. Hand over the blood gourd. Otherwise, I'll report to my father the day I break through to the 2nd heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm to him, and take away your other arm. Yin Jinghong said aggressively. Yin Tianjue's eyes were like a piercing cold sword. It was like a piece of ice that would never melt even after 10,000 years. He was never a person who would be bullied by others. Moreover, every word that Yin Jinghong said displeased him. For thousands of years, everyone in the world knew that he was a void fragmentation realm expert. However, They only knew that he was at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. Because he had made a huge mistake, he was planted with a sinful seal, his cultivation base was sealed and his arm was crippled. He could be said to be the shame of the Rain Palace. However, was he really just at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm? Ning Fan shook his head. At least from his point of view, Yin Tianjue was much stronger than Elder Chu and Yin Jinghong. He was even comparable to Moksha Sovereign. Yin Tianjue took a step forward. Under the tremendous force of his stomp, the mountains and rivers shook. Wind and snow howled and sword chi flew everywhere. Under this sword chi, Yin Jinghong, who was at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm, actually trembled, and his primordial spirit felt like it was going to shatter. In front of Yin Tianjue, he was as weak as an ant. When he met Yin Tianjue's gaze, his eyes turned bloodshot as if he was pierced by a sword. When he met Yin Tianjue's aura force, he felt as if his chest had suffered a heavy blow. All of a sudden, he retreated tens of steps before he could stabilize his body. Immediately after that, he coughed out a mouthful of blood. His face was filled with disbelief. Fourth heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. This is impossible. You should be at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. When you killed fourth brother, you should have been planted with the devil subduing sin seal, by my father. It's impossible for you to continue making breakthroughs. Could it be that you have already broken through that sinful seal? But how is this possible? Yin Jinghong's face was filled with fear. The fourth heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm was a terrifying cultivation realm. He thought that Yin Tianjue was at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. He did not expect that Yin Tianjue was actually this strong. If it wasn't for the fact that Yin Tianjue did not intend to kill him, he would certainly be killed by that sword strike. Shocking. He, a dignified first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm, could not even withstand a single blow from Yin Tianjue. This time, I will be merciful. Next time, you might not be able to survive. I don't like to talk nonsense. However, killing you is as easy as killing a dog. Yin Tianjue glanced at Yin Jinghong from the corner of his eyes. With arrogance and indifference, he carried Ning Fan into the depths of the dragon-deciding valley. Ning Fan found it hard to calm his astonishment. An old monster at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm was in existence that Ning Fan had to look up to. However, this kind of old monster actually did not have the strength to fight back after falling into Yin Tianjue's hands. Yin Tianjue's strength was a little terrifying. If I have this person's strength, why would I be afraid of Moksha Sovereign? For the first time, Ning Fan's eyes burned with passion while facing Yin Tianjue. Chapter 387. In the middle of the night, Ning Fan stood in the guest house of the Dragon Determining Valley. Of course, there was a guest house. Even though Elder Chu lived alone in the thatched cottage, the guest house of the Dragon Determining Valley was meticulously prepared. The Dragon Determining Valley was the #1 sect in the Snow Country. There were 1 million members in the sect. Naturally, most of them were in the Snow Country outside the valley. Only a few mute servants were left in the guest house. Dragon Determining Valley Lord, Chu Chang'an. Chu Chang'an is a loner. He has a bad temper towards everyone, but he is straightforward. If I have enough strength, I can make friends with him. Prince Hongyin Yin Jinghong. This person is narrow-minded and his methods are vicious. He wanted to kill me just because he heard my name. This person must be extremely conceited. Among the void fragmentation realm experts of the Rain Palace, only the 6th heavenly layer Divine Emperor realm experts can obtain the title. However, he called himself Hongyin. I suppose he is determined to break through to the 6th heavenly layer and become a Divine Emperor realm expert. In the snowy night, Ning Fan stood outside the building and muttered to himself. He was analyzing the 2 void fragmentation realm experts that he met during the day. Even though he was still confused when Yin Tianjue brought him here, he still needed to understand the other party's temperament. Knowing oneself and knowing one's enemy would allow one to deal with things with ease. There were still some things that he did not understand. For example, what was the use of the dragon blood? Ning Fan patted his storage pouch and took out 3 jade pots. Each of them contained the so-called dragon blood. After scanning the contents of the jade pots with his spirit sense, Ningfan's frown deepened. This dragon blood was called blood, but it was not. If Ningfan refined these 3 pots of dragon blood, he could increase his magic power by at least 5,000 units. If it is mixed with pills, if he uses the blood to refine pills, it would increase his magic power by at least 10,000 units. If it is brewed into wine like what Yin Tianjue did, it might increase his magic power by more than 15,000 units. This dragon blood might be the legendary medicinal blood. It is used to raise demon beasts and extract their blood to nourish their blood using special methods. The demon blood raised by cultivators will naturally not be refined directly. It must be used to make medicine or wine. That is why it is called medicinal blood. This dragon blood is probably an extremely high-grade medicinal blood. If Senior Yin Tianjue didn't bring me here, I definitely wouldn't have known that I would be promoted to a revered elder and obtain medicinal blood. If I can borrow Senior Yin Tianjue's blood gourd and use it to brew wine, how wonderful would that be? But Senior Yin Tianjue? It wasn't of a high grade, but it had a wonderful effect. I'm sure Senior Yin won't lend me the blood gourd. According to Senior Yin's words, I will head to the blood dragon pool tomorrow. I believe that is the place where the blood is nurtured. It seems that this place is rather dangerous, but have I not encountered enough dangers along the way? Ningfan took a deep breath and his eyes gradually calmed down. Then, he recalled some of the secret news that he had heard during the day. Sinful imprint, crippled arm, for a woman, indifference, cruelty, brother-killing, ingratitude, as Ningfan described Yin Tianjue. He seemed to have a better understanding of him. In Ningfan's opinion, the reason why Yin Tianjue killed him was because of a woman. To be able to anger the cold and emotionless Yin Tianjue, that woman was definitely very important to him. Perhaps the 4th prince had injured that woman, and that was why he had died. Ningfan definitely did not like to pry into other people's privacy. However, he had a good impression of this Yin Tianjue, and was slightly concerned about him. Thinking about it again, that Yin Jinghong had claimed that Yin Tianjue had forsaken his emotions to cultivate the sword, forgetting everything, even his beloved daughter. In that case, it was not surprising that he had forgotten about a passerby, Ning Qian. Ning Qian. Ningfan's eyes suddenly showed some self-reproach. He was not looking for Ning Qian because he missed her. He did not have a mother since he was young. He did not miss his mother whom he had never met. He just felt a little ashamed and worried. He was ashamed because as a son, he could not even predict his mother's life and death. He was truly a son in vain. He was worried because Ning Qian's birth destiny was concealed by someone. Ningfan found it hard to imagine what kind of expert could conceal a cultivator's birth destiny. Could it be that Ning Qian was also tricked by a true immortal? In my memory, my surname is Yin. The divination of the Dongsu realm also showed that I need to look for Yin Tianjue in order to find Ning Qian. From this, it can be inferred that my father is also a member of the Rain Palace. My mother and my birth destiny have both been affected. Perhaps it is not a coincidence. Could it be that my parents have offended someone which resulted in this disaster? Perhaps there are also enemies in the Rain Palace. In the future, I can't look for Ning Qian openly. Ningfan was silent. After some deliberation, he decided not to mention Ning Qian's name to anyone. Yin Tianjue had already asked her, but to no avail. If there is a chance in the future, I will ask Yin Ruowei. Other than these 2 people, Ningfan would not mention Ning Qian's name to a 3rd person. Isn't this revered Ming? I didn't expect that the revered devil who has killed countless people would also have the interest to enjoy the snow. How ridiculous. A few mocking voices sounded from the wind and snow. Gradually, 4 figures walked out from the snow. The 4 of them looked at Ningfan with disdain. They were none other than the 4 divine transformation realm experts he saw during the day. All 4 of them had white beards and white hair. Their bone ages were already more than 3,000 years old. All of them were at the half-step void refinement realm. Who are you? Ningfan's eyes turned cold. The revered 5 elements of the Vermilion Heaven Palace. The 4 of them answered with cold smiles. Revered 5 elements. Ningfan's eyes turned slightly serious. After he became a revered elder, He deliberately gathered a lot of information about the Rain Palace. He joined the Great Heaven Palace, and his subordinate was Yun Tianjue, a void fragmentation realm expert. As for Revered Flame, he was a revered elder of the Scarlet Heaven Palace, and his subordinate was Yin Jinghong. In the Scarlet Heaven Palace, Revered Flame was the fire cultivator with the highest potential. Naturally, he was highly valued by the Rain Palace. The 5 strongest revered elders of the Scarlet Heaven Palace were the revered 5 elements elders. Revered Flame was the one with the lowest bone age. However, he had a cultivation base at the peak divine transformation realm, and his combat power was extremely high. The 4 people in front of Ning Fan were the other 4 revered elders: Revered Gold, Revered Wood, Revered Earth, and Revered Water. In the Endless Sea, a half-step void refinement realm expert would be the supreme being of the internal sea. However, in the Rain Palace, a half-step void refinement realm expert would only be a high-level revered elder. When he thought of that, Ning Fan's eyes turned slightly gloomy. Could it be that the 4 of them came here in the middle of the night because of Revered Flame? You are Zhou Ming? Inextinguishable Fire Body, what a great name. Only Yin Yin would be cursed to death by you. I have to say, you've done a good deed. Now that you've killed Yin Yin, the 4 of us will rise in status in the Scarlet Heaven Palace. Ning Fan glanced at the 4 of them from the corner of his eyes. He had overestimated them. Indeed, the 4 of them seemed to be here to cause him trouble. However, their purpose was not to seek revenge for Revered Flame. Hand over the 3 pots of dragon blood. Otherwise, humph. Revered Gold took a step forward. With a twist of his left hand, a ray of golden light was shot towards Ning Fan. His speed was not any slower than Ning Fan's. That ray of golden light was clearly the light of the heavenly dwelling. It seemed like he wanted to take Ning Fan into the treasure of the heavenly dwelling and bully him. Ning Fan's eyes turned gloomy. He did not dodge and allowed Revered Gold to take him away. In a heavenly dwelling that was filled with rolling thunder, Ning Fan stood upright without any fear. He was surrounded by 4 revered elders. Each of them had a cold smile on their faces. Jin Zun, in particular, was holding a golden ring in his hand. He seemed to be very proud of himself. It seemed like this heavenly dwelling was created by that golden ring. Zhou Ming, hand over the 3 pots of dragon blood, and we will only shatter your primordial spirit. We won't kill you. Revered Gold said, not allowing Ning Fan to refuse. Shatter my primordial spirit? You think you can do that? Ning Fan closed his eyes. His expression turned even colder. It turned out that even if he came to the Rain Palace, he would still be bullied without strength and background. With his current strength, he could come and go as he pleased in this heavenly dwelling. Since he purposely entered this heavenly dwelling, he did not have a kind heart. When the 4 revered elders saw that Ning Fan did not know what was good for him, their eyes were filled with anger. At the same time, they made hand seals and attacked. Earth Primordial Sword. Lightning Dao Whip. Minor Ice Abyss Technique. Wind Death Technique. The techniques that the 4 of them displayed were all peak divine transformation realm techniques. Zhou Ming, you can break Yun Yan's flames with your indestructible fire body, but you can't break our techniques. Revered Gold said with disdain. Is that so? Earth Collapse. Lightning Destruction. Ice Shatter. Wind Scatter. Ning Fan clawed at the air. 5 10,000 zhang tall black dragon tombstones suddenly appeared in the sky. Clearly, he was displaying the 5 tombstones of dragons. With the help of Fu Li's blood and vast magic power, the power of this technique was not any weaker than a half-step void technique. The 5 tombstones could bury 5 dragons. It could break the 5 elements and seal a cultivator's incarnation and primordial spirit. This technique could even break Shimenye's 5 elements devil sound. It was easy for it to break 4 peak divine transformation realm techniques. Boom! As the 5 tombstones fell, the techniques of the 4 revered beings were forcibly broken. Waves of magic power spread out in all directions. The 4 revered beings' faces were filled with astonishment. They recognized that the technique that Ning Fan displayed was actually the secret technique of the Black Dragon clan. The Black Dragon did not belong to the 5 elements. The 5 tombstones could break the 5 elements in the world. However, this technique had long been lost. Why did Ning Fan have this technique? From the four revered beings' point of view, even if Ning Fan accidentally obtained this technique, he was neither a demon nor a demon cultivator with the ancestral blood of the Black Dragon. How could he display this technique? They could not figure it out. However, this technique was clearly capable of restraining all 5 elements in the world. Unless the opponent's cultivation level was higher than this technique, all 5 elements' magic techniques would be completely restrained. Boom! When the 5 tombstones fell, the 4 revered beings felt like they were being crushed by a mountain. They could not move at all. They coughed out mouthfuls of blood and tried their best to break the tombstones. However, their hearts were filled with astonishment. The 4 half-step Void Refinement Realm experts were actually severely injured by Ning Fan in a single move. Other than Void Refinement Realm old monsters, who else could injure 4 half-step Void Refinement Realm experts in a single move? This Ning Fan's strength is somewhat terrifying. He's just a peak Divine Transformation Realm expert. Could it be that his combat power is already comparable to a Void Refinement Realm expert? This is bad. We need to leave this heavenly dwelling quickly. We are no match for him. We will be killed by him here. The 4 of them were terrified. If Ning Fan smashed the tombstones again, the 4 of them could not guarantee their survival. Don't you think it's a little too late to leave? A pair of purple wings suddenly appeared on Ning Fan's back. When he flapped them, he disappeared without a trace. At the next moment, a drop of thick ink spread out in front of the 4 revered beings, drawing them into the thick ink. Black Torrent Spirit Splitting Technique. Ning Fan's spirit sense was already at the Void Refinement Realm. Naturally, his incarnation strength also rose to the same level. The power of this Black Torrent Spirit Splitting Technique also increased tremendously. How could half-step Void Refinement Realm experts resist it? Perhaps it was very difficult to improve one's cultivation level. However, there might be shortcuts to improving one's spirit sense. Even though Ning Fan's cultivation level had yet to reach the Void Refinement Realm, as long as his spirit sense breaks through, he would also possess Void Refinement Realm combat power. What kind of magic technique is this? It's basically a Void Refinement Realm attack. Ah! As the black sword light swept across, the 4 of them were instantly crushed into pieces. When the blood mist dispersed, Ning Fan reformed his physical body. His white robes were untainted by even a speck of dust. In his hands were 4 storage pouches and 4 primordial spirits. Killing others and seizing their treasures? Who wouldn't do that? When it comes to killing others and seizing their treasures, Ning Fan was the expert. When he scanned the storage pouches of the 4 of them, he could not help but frown. There were only tens of millions of immortal jades in them. Ning Fan frowned. It seems like the revered elders of the Rain Palace have an extremely low salary compared to the devil cultivators who went around killing others to earn money. Even though there were only a few immortal jades, their pills, cultivation methods and magic treasures were all top-notch. The revered elders of the Rain Palace may not have a high salary, but the benefits they received were exceptionally good. It was enough to make one green with envy. If there's some gray income, it would definitely be faster than earning money in the sea of blood of the devil cultivators. At the spot where the 4 of them died, traces of golden light slowly condensed into a Dao fruit. It seemed to be left behind by a dead golden venerate. It fell on Ning Fan's palm. He had obtained a Dao fruit after just killing 4 of them. His luck was getting better and better. Other than this Dao fruit, Ning Fan actually had another unexpected gain. After the blood mist dispersed, a cloud of white cold chi slowly condensed. It was actually a cloud of heavenly frost cold chi. This heavenly frost cold chi was called Divine Frost Soul. It was ranked 3rd among the 12 types of cold chi. It probably belonged to venerated water. It was another unexpected gain. Seeing Ning Fan casually taking away their storage pouches and supreme treasures, the 4 primordial spirits were filled with shock, anger and fear. Zhizhou, you can't snatch our treasures. You can't kill us either. Otherwise, Prince Jinghong will certainly know that you're the one who killed us. With his personality, he definitely won't let you walk out of the Dragon Determining Valley alive. Thank you for your reminder. Ning Fan sneered. He patted his storage pouch and chanted. Puppets. Appear. All of a sudden, 3 Void Refinement Realm spiritual puppets appeared in front of him, frightening the 4 of them. 3 Void Refinement Realm spiritual puppets. Ningfan actually has 3 Void Refinement Realm spiritual puppets with him. Adding his own combat power, he would be able to handle 4 Void Refinement Realm experts with ease. The 4 of them were just half-step Void Refinement Realm experts. Yet they dared to find trouble with Ningfan. They were basically courting death. What do you want? The 4 of them became even more frightened. They were certain that Ningfan would not dare to kill them, but they did not think that Ningfan would let them go. You're right. It's unwise to kill all of you now. After leaving the Dragon Determining Valley, I'll kill all of you. Who would know that I'm the one who killed the 4 of you? Soul search. Ningfan showed no mercy and directly searched their souls. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, the 4 of them became idiots. Ningfan handed them to the spiritual puppets and sealed them. Once they leave the Dragon Determining Valley, he would let the spiritual puppets devour their primordial spirits. The 4 of them were revered Elder Yudian. But so what? Ningfan never liked being bullied by others. Since the 4 of them wanted to destroy his primordial spirits, he would kill them. As long as he did it secretly and did not let Yun Jinghong know about it, it would be fine. As for the tokens that were related to their identities, Ningfan discarded them in this heavenly dwelling space. A wisp of purple golden mist rose from the tip of his finger. When he waved it at the sky, it separated the heavenly dwelling space. Then he took a step forward and returned to the outside world. His baleful qi did not leak out at all. Obviously, he had already cultivated his baleful qi to an extremely high level. After a night of indifferently sweeping through the wind and snow, the sky was about to brighten. Ningfan turned around, intending to return to his room. All of a sudden, a voice sounded from a place where no one was around. Did you kill them? This voice appeared without any warning. It clearly showed the scene of Ningfan and the 4 of them leaving. Ningfan was inwardly shocked. However, when he saw the person who was hiding, he could not help but feel relieved. This person was none other than Yin Tianjue. Since Yin Tianjue had already guessed that Ningfan had killed the 4 of them, Ningfan would not deny it. Since Yin Tianjue did not get along well with Yin Jinghong, he probably would not blame him for killing Yin Jinghong's juniors. I only destroyed their physical bodies. Their primordial spirits are still intact. However, once they leave the Dragon Determining Valley, they will die. Ningfan admitted. Very good. Since they hit you, you should hit them back. Since they wanted to kill you, you should kill them back. You are a member of my great heaven palace. It is not their place to bully you. Yin Tianjue's tone was cold and indifferent. However, his words warmed Ningfan's heart. He did not expect that the infamous Sword Devil would also protect his own. Ningfan had only experienced this kind of feeling from Old Devil. Today he felt it again from Yin Tianjue. Seeing that Ningfan was not in danger, Yin Tianjue coldly turned around and intended to leave. However, he was stopped by Ningfan. He would certainly obtain a lot of dragon snow during this trip. However, in order to maximize the medicinal effect of the dragon blood, he needed one thing. That was to brew blood into wine. Senior, can you lend me your blood gourd for a while? As soon as Ningfan said that, he was stunned. What happened to him? He actually dared to make a request of Sword Devil. It was a very strange feeling. He rarely asked for help from others and would never ask for anything from others. However, he said that in an extremely casual manner, as if it was a matter of course. However, as soon as the words left his mouth, Ningfan shook his head with a wry smile, regretting his slip of the tongue. Didn't you see how Yin Jinghong was beaten like a dog when he asked Sword Devil for his blood gourd? Yin Tianjue halted his steps. His eyes turned gloomy. He hated it the most when people made requests of him. However, when he saw Ningfan's wry smile, his eyes gradually softened. After pondering for a while, he understood what Ningfan wanted. You want to brew blood wine? No. This junior made a slip of the tongue. I definitely won't dare to have any thoughts about Senior's blood gourd. Ningfan shook his head. He did not think that Sword Devil would borrow something from others. It was already rare for him not to rob others. Yin Tianjue frowned. He was a loner. He would never talk to anyone more than 3 sentences, let alone share a table and drink wine with anyone. Anyone who made a request of him or asked for treasures would be sent flying by a single sword strike from him. Despite Yun Tianjue's indifference, he had a good impression of Ning Fan. This young man was a little to his liking. If it wasn't for that, he definitely would not share a drink with Ning Fan, let alone bring a stranger to the dragon-determining valley from afar, and openly disobey the Rain Sovereign's order to help Ning Fan obtain the dragon blood. He was not a kind person, and he would never nurture his juniors. Ning Fan was the first one. Take it. Yun Tianjue casually tossed a blood gourd to Ning Fan and disappeared into the wind and snow, leaving behind a cold sentence. It takes 10 years to brew blood wine. You must return this gourd to me after using it. Ning Fan was stunned. The sword devil who was rumored to be cold and heartless was actually so easygoing? Holding the blood gourd, Ning Fan gently shook it. There was at least a lot of blood wine inside, less than 7 mouthfuls. There's also blood wine inside. Ning Fan opened his mouth to ask but was interrupted by an impatient voice. It's yours. In the depths of the wind and snow, Yun Tianjue said impatiently. Don't embarrass me in the blood pool tomorrow. Yes. Ning Fan cupped his fists and bowed. His eyes were filled with gratitude. Even though Yun Tianjue's reputation was bad, was his reputation good? It was not surprising that there would often be mistakes when judging people based on rumors. With this blood gourd and the blood wine, I wonder if I can break through to the void refinement realm in one go after 10 years. Chapter 388. It was a bright night. Ning Fan spent the whole night meditating on the bed. His essence, chi and spirit were all at their peak. He pushed the door open and saw a mute servant waiting for him in the snowstorm. It seemed like he was going to bring him somewhere. With a sweep of his divine perception, he noticed that he was the only one left in the guest house, and Yun Tianjue was nowhere to be found. Ning Fan thought to himself that Yun Tianjue had probably gone to the blood dragon pool in advance. He did not ask too many questions, and followed the mute servant out of the guest house. There was already a void refinement realm bull lying on the ground outside the door. The beast was 50,000 feet tall, and there was a pavilion on its back. It seemed to be a beast for cultivators to ride on. There were more than 10 young men sitting on the back of the Kuei ox. It was difficult to see their faces through the mortal void grade sense isolation formation. Ning Fan did not activate his demon eyes to probe the area forcefully. Instead, he leaped onto the back of the demonic beast. He believed that he would have to rely on this beast to head to the blood dragon pool today. To be able to have a void refinement realm bull as his mount, this dragon-deciding valley lord must be really generous. What astonished Ning Fan even more was the restriction placed inside the body of this void refinement realm Kuei bull. It wasn't an ordinary thought restriction. It was a demon restriction. Only those who are proficient in demon cultivation techniques can plant the demon forbidden spell. Ning Fan thought to himself. Could it be that the Valley Lord of the Dragon-determining Valley is an expert in the demon Tao? Even though it was difficult for humans to cultivate in the demon cultivation realm, it was not impossible. There were quite a number of humans like Ning Fan and the Demon Sealing sect who cultivated in the demon cultivation realm. The moment Ning Fan got on its back, the void refinement realm Kuei ox instinctively revealed a look of fear. Despite being a dignified void refinement realm Kuei Nyo, he actually felt a wave of fear and panic when he came into close contact with Ning Fan. It was the deterrence that originated from his bloodline. Only the Kuei Nyo who had a high level of intelligence could sense it. For ordinary blood beasts, unless Ning Fan emitted his aura force, they would definitely not be able to sense his identity as the Fuli demon ancestor. Mu, the void refinement realm Kuei Nyo who was usually extremely hot-tempered and arrogant to its guests actually let out a respectful cry after Ning Fan got on its back. In an instant, the faces of the dozen or so cultivators in the pavilion changed. Anyone with a discerning eye would know that this Kuei Nyo was trying to please Ning Fan. But how is this possible? A void refinement realm ferocious beast trying to please a divine transformation realm cultivator? You are venerable Ming. A voice that was hard to tell whether it was happy or angry was heard. Then the sense isolation formation dispersed. The one who spoke was a middle-aged Confucian scholar, with a mid-divine transformation realm cultivation base. As soon as he saw Ning Fan, he immediately rose to his feet and cupped his fists to welcome him. "You are?" Ning Fan walked into the pavilion and asked. "He, I am the revered elder of the Serene Heaven Palace Yu Bai. These are the revered elders of my Serene Heaven Palace," the middle-aged scholar introduced with a smile. "So it's fellow Taoist Yu." Ning Fan cupped his fists to return the greeting and nodded at each of the Divine Transformation Realm venerated elders. There were a total of 13 Divine Transformation Realm cultivators in this place. 5 of them were at the early Divine Transformation Realm. 3 were at the mid-Divine Transformation Realm. 2 were at the late Divine Transformation Realm. 2 were at the peak Divine Transformation Realm. And 1 was at the half-step Void Refinement Realm. The Serene Heaven Palace was Chu Chang'an's force, and these revered elders were under Chu Chang'an's command. It seemed like this group of revered elders were going to enter the Blood Dragon Pool together with Ning Fan to gain experience. That Chu Chang'an must have paid a great price to activate the Blood Dragon Pool. Not only did he invite the Scarlet Heaven Palace to enter, but he also had the venerated elders of the Scarlet Heaven Palace draw their blood to temper themselves. Although it was a selfish move, the opening of the Blood Dragon Pool this time was an exception. Chu Chang'an was forced by Yun Tianjue to open it. According to Chu Chang'an's personality, if he could not resist, he would accept it calmly and maximize his benefits. When the group of venerated elders of the Serene Heaven Palace saw that Ning Fan was still calm, even when facing the 13 Divine Transformation Realm experts, most of them secretly admired his bearing. However, there were also 2 or 3 of them who had a strange expression on their faces. They were communicating with each other through telepathy as if they were dissatisfied with Ning Fan. Ning Fan did not pay attention to these people. The strength that he revealed was at the peak Divine Transformation Realm. His strongest battle record was that he killed Revered Yen with his indestructible fire body. Revered Yen was also considered as a first-rate expert in the Scarlet Heaven Palace. Since Ning Fan was able to kill Revered Yen, no one would dare to look down on him. Last night, the 4 revered elders of the 5 elements had underestimated Ning Fan. The consequence of that was death. "Fellow Taoist Joe, please have a seat. Fellow Taoist is really extraordinary. You actually made Kuei-Nyo act so respectfully. Other than Void Fragmentation Realm seniors, this is the first time I've seen someone who has such an aura. You flatter me. Fellow Taoist's bearing is really extraordinary. I'm afraid that the profound cultivation technique of the Confucian sect is already on the verge of achieving a breakthrough. In just 200 to 300 years of hard work, breaking through to the late Divine Transformation Realm is just a matter of time." Ning Fan took his seat and said with a smile. However, Yu Bai was extremely surprised. "Fellow Taoist, you have good eyesight. I have never told anyone about the fact that my profound cultivation technique is on the verge of achieving a breakthrough. Even the revered elders of the same palace do not know about it. However, fellow Taoist was able to see through it with just a glance. It really surprises me. Indeed, rumors are not trustworthy. The rumors that Yu Bai mentioned were naturally Ning Fan's notorious reputation. Some people said that he was lecherous, bloodthirsty, and had no conscience. In short, there were not many good rumors about Ning Fan in the Rain Palace. In the impression of the Divine Transformation Realm experts, Ning Fan was just a murderous devil. That was all. Therefore, when Ning Fan arrived, the few late Divine Transformation Realm experts, peak Divine Transformation Realm experts, and half-step Void Refinement Realm experts did not welcome him in order to avoid embarrassing their status. Only Yu Bai, who was a kind person, stood up to welcome him to avoid embarrassing the guests. His notorious reputation was also because there were a few people who did not care about Ning Fan at all. However, Ning Fan was able to see through the progress of Yu Bai's profound cultivation technique with just a few words. Such sharp eyesight was enough to prove that his Tao comprehension was profound. He was a first-class cultivator who cultivated painstakingly. Since he was a cultivator who cultivated painstakingly, his heart would certainly be like a boulder. He would purify his mind and nourish his character. How could he be lecherous and bloodthirsty? Most of the rumors in the outside world were just rumors. As such, Yu Bai was not the only one who became more enthusiastic. A few revered elders at the late stage, peak stage and half-step void refinement realm also began to come over to chat with Ning Fan. They could not tell. They could not tell that Ning Fan was a devil lord at all. His smile was easygoing, his eyes were deep, his aura was graceful and his body was upright, which made people gasp in admiration at first sight. This was the direct change after the fusion of the three intents. Ning Fan's temperament had undergone a fundamental change. He put on a black cloak and turned into a devil. He took off his black cloak and hid the devil in his heart. If he did not kill anyone, no one would know about his ferocious nature. The cultivation of the devil path had already reached an extremely high level. After a round of conversation, everyone was easily convinced by Ning Fan's way of talking. From their conversations, Ning Fan also learned that this Kuei Nyo was going to the Blood Dragon Pool. The place where the Blood Dragon Pool was located was called the Blood River. It was a swamp filled with blood mist and was quite dangerous. There were even many Divine Transformation Realm and Void Refinement Realm ferocious beasts that had yet to be tamed. Only Void Fragmentation Realm old monsters would dare to enter alone. Divine Transformation Realm juniors like Ning Fan could only enter by riding on the Kuei Nyo. This Kuei Nyo was a Void Refinement Realm being after all. With its protection, as long as the Divine Transformation Realm cultivators behaved themselves, they would basically not be in any danger. The Blood River, huh? Ning Fan pondered inwardly while pretending to be polite to the Divine Transformation Realm cultivators. For some unknown reason, the closer he got to the Blood River and the closer he got to the Dragon Deciding Valley, the more strange he felt. Especially the Blood Dragon Demon sword that seemed to be in a deep slumber in his storage pouch. It was trembling gently and emitting a hint of excitement. Ning Fan was suddenly enlightened. He finally understood what the strange feeling that he had been having since he entered the Dragon Deciding Valley was. Dragon Deciding Valley. Blood Dragon Pool. Blood River. Could it be that there is a blood dragon in this place? Could the so-called dragon blood be related to the blood dragon? The corner of Ning Fan's lips curled into a smile. If it is really related to the blood dragon, I wonder if I can get some extra benefits with the blood dragon demon sword. After tasting spiritual tea and consuming spiritual fruits, the group of revered elders of the Serene Heaven Palace had a pleasant conversation with Ning Fan. In the past, Ning Fan had to be cautious even when facing an early Divine Transformation Realm cultivator. Today, however, his cultivation base had already reached such a level. It really made them sigh with admiration. However, just as the guests and the host were enjoying themselves, a slightly discordant female voice let out a soft snort. Humph! Venerated Ming, you have great means. You are famous among the devil sects in the Endless Sea. You are also talking with confidence and composure among the righteous cultivators of my Rain Palace. You really have the upper hand. I wonder if Venerated Ming has heard of this saying before? There are people who like everyone in the world, and there are people who hate them. Those who can make people like them are not necessarily good people. Those who can make people hate them are also not necessarily evil people. However, those who can make both good and evil people like them must be cunning people. The person who spoke was a young lady with delicate and pretty features. Her hair was tied into a ponytail. She was not wearing any pink embroidery. Instead, she was wearing silver armor which made her look like a female general. However, she had a petite figure which could not hide her beauty. The young lady had an early Divine Transformation Realm cultivation base, and it seemed like she had just broken through to the early Divine Transformation Realm not long ago. Her elegant brows which carried a hint of heroic spirit slightly raised, and she gave Ning Fan a sidelong glance with disdain. She actually dared to call Ning Fan a cunning person. Chong'er, don't be rude. Yu Bai's eyes darkened. He immediately cupped his fists and apologized to Ning Fan awkwardly. This is my younger sister, Yu Chong'er. She has always been cultivating in the Yu clan. She doesn't know the rules and offended Venerated Ming with her words. She definitely doesn't mean any harm. Please calm down, Venerated Ming. Yu Bai smiled bitterly in his mind. Even if Ning Fan was really a cunning person, he did not dare to make sarcastic remarks in front of everyone. After all, Ning Fan was a peak Divine Transformation Realm expert. He could choose not to be on good terms with him, but he must not become enemies with him. Moreover, Yu Bai already admired Ning Fan from the few words they exchanged. He did not think that Ning Fan was a cunning person at all. Therefore, he was naturally very displeased with Yu Chong'er's rude remarks. He was afraid that Ning Fan would get angry because of it. Ning Fan's gaze swept across Yu Chong'er indifferently. He shook his head with a smile. It's all right. It's rare for your younger sister to be frank and frank. As long as she doesn't mean any harm by saying those words, I won't hold it against her for fellow Taoist Yu's sake even if it's a little unpleasant. Thank you for your magnanimity, fellow Taoist Zhou. Chong'er, why aren't you coming over and apologizing to venerated Ming? Yu Bai's eyes turned serious. Humph. Who would apologize to him? All of you are afraid of him. That's why you don't dare to speak ill of him. I, Yu Chong, am not afraid of him. My master is Yin Qingge, one of the 4 great void fragmentation realm experts. I'm not afraid of any perverted thief or devil cultivator. The little girl glared at Ning Fan angrily. Humph. How could I be wrong? Ning Fan is obviously an evil person. The little girl did not have any other strong points, but she was born with a keen sense of baleful qi. She could clearly feel that the baleful qi in Ning Fan's body was earth-shattering. Perhaps he must have slaughtered hundreds of divine transformation realm experts to have such frightening baleful qi. Yu Chong, knew that Ning Fan must be a great devil lord. He must be pretending to be easygoing. He must be extremely dangerous. He was obviously a devil cultivator, but he still insisted on joining the Rain Palace. He wanted to cleanse his name and walk the righteous path. Wasn't that cunning? Yu Chong, was born in the Yu clan. Ever since she was young, she had been the pearl of the clan. Moreover, she was doted on by a void fragmentation realm expert. However, her disposition was also pure and kind. Normally, she was quite chivalrous, unlike other righteous cultivators who only talk nonsense. Naturally, she did not like Ning Fan, the great devil lord. She was not good at pretending. She just did not like him. However, she did not expect that even her elder brother would not stand on her side and help Ning Fan instead after she told him the truth. It really made her angry. You can continue pretending. I, Yu Chong, will never fall for your tricks. Yu Chong transmitted her voice to Ning Fan in dissatisfaction. Ning Fan directly ignored her. With his temperament, he was too lazy to bicker with a little girl. Yes, his easygoing manner was indeed part of his disguise. If it was his original appearance, perhaps he would be as cold as ice to this group of unfamiliar cultivators. However, most of the time, disguises were not out of malice. They were just forced by life. Everyone had a mask. They either wore it or took it off. Ning Fan was not a good person. However, he did not hold any grudges against the Serene Heaven Palace. Moreover, Chu Chong had given him 3 pots of dragon blood. Therefore, he still had a good impression of the Serene Heaven Palace. Towards his enemies, he would kill them without showing any mercy. Towards his friends, he would turn a blind eye even if they were being sarcastic. All the divine transformation realm experts had sharp eyes. How could they not notice Yu Chong's telepathic message to Ning Fan? Moreover, from the movement of her lips, they could tell that she was probably not saying anything nice. However, Ning Fan did not say anything back. He did not even look at her. His magnanimity was even more admirable. Seeing is believing. Revered Ming's magnanimity can be counted with one's fingers in the entire Rain Palace. My younger sister is young and ignorant. She spoke rudely, but Revered Ming tolerated her again and again. I really feel bad. Please accept this item, Revered Ming. Yu Bai gritted his teeth. Half of it was because he felt guilty and the other half was because he really did not want to offend Ning Fan. After pondering for a while, he took out an exquisite jade box from his storage pouch and handed it to Ning Fan. The jade box was slightly opened. Immediately, a trace of 10,000 years old medicinal fragrance leaked out, causing the bodies of the revered elders at the scene to tremble. Their eyes were burning with desire. A 10,000 years old spiritual herb. Besides, this medicine is definitely not wrong. Could it be? Yu Bai gently gritted his teeth. Then he calmly pushed the jade box to Ning Fan and said apologetically, This tuft of red building Ganoderma has been appraised by a 5th revolution pill master to be 13,400 years old. If you consume it, it can extend your lifespan by 200 years. I'll give it to Brother Zhou. Red building Ganoderma? Ning Fan was secretly surprised. This was a miraculous medicine that could extend the lifespan of divine transformation realm cultivators. They could only consume one tuft of it in their lifetime, and it could extend their lifespan by 200 years. If it is placed in the market, it was highly possible for it to be auctioned for hundreds of millions of immortal jade. To divine transformation realm cultivators, no, to anyone, an extra 200 years of lifespan was extremely precious. Ning Fan's eyes flashed. By giving this item to him, Yu Bai was really sincere in befriending him. Among the 13 divine transformation realm cultivators, Yu Bai was the only one who stood up to welcome him. Ning Fan naturally had a good impression of him. He did not lack lifespan prolonging spiritual herbs. However, he had to accept this medicine. By accepting it, it meant that the two of them had become friends. Many thanks for Brother Yu's generous gift. I don't have anything good to give you in return. These pills were refined by me. I hope Brother Yu doesn't mind. Ning Fan casually took out a few bottles of medicine. All of them were 5th revolution pills that he concocted. As soon as they heard Ning Fan return Yu Bai a pill that he concocted, many divine transformation realm cultivators in the hall frowned slightly. From their point of view, it was already rare for Ning Fan's pill refinement mastery to reach the 3rd revolution. It would be very difficult for him to reach the 4th revolution. As for the 5th revolution, it would be a joke. If he used the pills he refined as a return gift, the value was naturally not worth mentioning. However, Yu Bai was very happy about it. As the saying goes, the gift is light but the sentiment is heavy. Returning the pill that he concocted contained his sincerity. It meant that he had acknowledged Yu Bai as a friend. Even if Ning Fan was just concocting a 3rd revolution pill, he, Yu Bai, would still accept it. Third brother, why did you give the red chamber Ganoderma to this demon? You, this is for Mother. Mother has already taken the red house Ganoderma once. It's useless for her to take it again. Even so, you gave him the red chamber Ganoderma, but he gave you a pill that might not even be a 3rd revolution pill. You've suffered a huge loss. Shut up. Reciprocation is the most important thing. How can it be measured by value? Yu Bai glared at Yu Chong'er in displeasure. What Yu Bai admired was Ning Fan's magnanimity and talent. What did it have to do with these pills? Even if Ning Fan did not return the pills, Yu Bai was also willing to befriend him. Yu Chong'er vented her anger on Ning Fan even more. Humph. It's all because of Great Demon Ning that I got scolded by my elder brother again and again. She stomped her feet angrily and ran to Yu Bai. She snatched the pill bottle from his hand and passed it to Ning Fan arrogantly. Take your 3rd revolution pill back and return the red chamber Ganoderma to my elder brother. She did not want her elder brother to suffer losses. Chong'er, how dare you? Brother Yu, please calm down. Ning Fan waved his hand. Inwardly, he only felt that it was funny, but he was not angry. Yu Bai was a person who was worth befriending. As for this Yu Chong'er, it seemed like she was starting to throw a tantrum. Zhou Ming, take your 3rd revolution pill away. My elder brother doesn't want it. Great Demon Ning, don't get involved with my Yu clan. My relationship with your elder brother doesn't seem to be a hindrance to Miss Chong'er, does it? Are you sure that this is just a 3rd revolution pill? Ning Fan's eyelids twitched and his eyes darkened. Yu Chong'er, who was still young and innocent, had never been stared at by a man like this before. For a moment, her face turned red and her aura became slightly weaker. No, if it's not a 3rd revolution pill, could it be a 4th revolution pill? Maybe rank 5. Impossible. You clearly said that this pill was refined by you. Yu Chong'er's beautiful eyes widened. Humph. I'm not an idiot. The medicinal qi of this pill clearly contains a trace of Ning Fan's qi, which was planted when he concocted it. She carefully received the pill bottle and took a whiff of the medicinal fragrance. Suddenly, a look of surprise appeared on her face. She felt that the medicinal fragrance was a little too strong. Rank 5, could it be rank 5? No, that's impossible. It was impossible for Ning Fan to be a fifth revolution pill refinement master. However, this medicinal fragrance, bang. Yu Chong uncorked the bottle with a nervous heart. In an instant, the pill fragrance that was originally sealed spread into the surroundings. The moment they smelled the pill fragrance, the expressions of all the soul formation cultivators present changed drastically. Mid-grade fifth revolution pill. God injury pill. Consuming one of these pills can completely heal a divine transformation realm cultivator's severe injuries. Each of these pills is worth 10 million immortal jade. Mid-grade fifth revolution pill. Death-sealing pill. This is a pill that can only be found in the upper world. The pill recipe has never been leaked to outsiders. I can't believe Revered Ming actually concocted it. Revered Ming is actually a mid-grade fifth revolution pill refinement master. All of a sudden, all the cultivators' gazes gathered on Ning Fan. Their eyes were filled with shock and passion. There were less than 50 fifth revolution pill refinement masters in the Rain world. As for sixth revolution pill refinement masters, there were only 7 of them. Until now, there were no 7th revolution pill refinement masters. Of course, there were also rumors saying that the pill sovereign who had been in seclusion for a long time had already broken through to the 7th revolution pill refinement realm. However, everything was still unknown. The identity of a 5th revolution pill refinement master was definitely more glorious than an ordinary divine transformation realm cultivator. Moreover, this 5th revolution pill refinement master was a mid-grade divine transformation realm expert. Adding all of these factors together, Ning Fan's identity was too honorable. None of the divine transformation realm cultivators present was willing to offend a 5th revolution pill refinement master. Yu Chong put down the pill bottle in a daze. She was speechless. She did not expect that Ning Fan could concoct 5th revolution pills, and was even willing to give you buy a few bottles of 5th revolution pills. The total value of these pills should be at least 200 million immortal jade. The value of the items that Ning Fan gave to you buy was even higher than the Red Chamber Ganoderma. Ning Fan did not have the intention to take advantage of her at all. Yu Chong was the one who judged him with the heart of a despicable person. I'm sorry. I misunderstood you. Why, you might not be a good person, but you might not be a bad person either. I also did not expect you to be a mid-grade 5th revolution pill refinement master. In short, I apologize for what I said just now. However, even if I apologize, I still won't like you. I hope you can understand. Yu Chong's words were somewhat incoherent. What she wanted to express was probably to maintain a normal relationship with Ning Fan from now on. She did not like him, but she also did not hate him. They were just like strangers. The friendship between gentlemen was as indifferent as water. However, this expression was very ambiguous. In the ears of the divine transformation realm cultivators who were experienced in the ways of the world, they only felt that it was like the romantic words of a young couple. What did she mean by, "I won't like you"? This kind of emphasis is very obvious, isn't it? Even Yu Bai looked at his younger sister with a strange expression. He thought to himself, Chong has been arguing with Ning Fan since the beginning. Could it be that she has taken a fancy to Ning Fan and is purposely provoking him to attract his attention? At least, Yu Bai had seen a lot of the thoughts of a young girl. It's right that Miss Chong does not like me. If you like me, I will be troubled. I already have a wife. Ning Fan teased. His words caused many revered elders to burst into laughter. You. Humph. I don't care if you have a wife or not. You are despicable. The slight guilt that Yu Chong felt towards Ning Fan just now immediately vanished. As expected, he is not a good person. He actually dared to tease me in front of everyone. Master is right. There are no good men, especially men who cultivate the devil path. Chapter 389. In the Blood River, there were many ferocious beasts that had not yet been tamed. Among them, there was no lack of wild beasts and a small number of void refinement realm ferocious beasts. These ferocious beasts seemed to have been raised as blood fiends, and were rather ferocious. In the past, when the revered elders of the Serene Heaven Palace came to the Blood River, even with the protection of the Kuei Bull, there would definitely be quite a number of fights. But today, as they entered the Blood River, not a single beast attacked them. Everyone was secretly surprised. Of course, they did not know that it was because Ning Fan had released a trace of his ancestral blood aura. The demon race valued bloodline, and this batch of ferocious beasts had not been tamed yet, so they would not defend the dragon-deciding valley and attack all invading enemies. After sensing Ning Fan's bloodline aura force, they naturally did not want to act recklessly. It was just like how Ming Kei, the little girl, had calmly traversed the Dark Sparrow's grave in the past despite having a low cultivation base. When she was conscious, no demon dared to provoke her. Why would I suddenly think of that little girl? Ning Fan shook his head with a smile. He had probably long regarded the little girl as his younger sister. Biscuit Master. Biscuit Brother. Pill Biscuit. It should be Pill Biscuit? Ning Fan shook his head. Until now, he still could not distinguish these things. The Kuei Nyo crossed the Blood River, flew over thousands of mountains, and landed in a valley. The valley had a perimeter of 10,000 li. Within it was a deep pool that was blood-red and translucent. It was the Blood Dragon Pool. Being so close to the blood pool, the Blood Dragon demon sword in Ning Fan's storage pouch trembled even more violently. He was deep in thought. This Blood Dragon Pool was somewhat similar to the Black Dragon Pool. This pool was probably a secret place of the Blood Dragon clan. Is there really a blood dragon in the dragon-deciding valley? Just as Ning Fan was deep in thought, the sounds of intense battle suddenly resounded in the sky. Waves of boundless magic power clashed against each other, causing the earth within 1,000,000 miles to tremble violently. Every time they collided, mountains and rivers would collapse. High up in the sky, a gigantic blood dragon shadow with a golden lamp in its mouth was fighting against Yin Tian. Yin Jinghong was watching from the side. The golden lamp magic treasure was quite unique. Wherever the flame of the lamp shrouded, no golden light could penetrate. As for the blood dragon, its combat strength was almost at the peak of the second layer of the void fragmentation realm. Blood dragon. And this dragon is actually... Ning Fan's eyes widened. The truth was just as he had expected. There was a true dragon hidden in this dragon-deciding valley. However, what Ning Fan did not expect was that the blood dragon was actually the master of the dragon-determining valley, Chu Chang, and, oh, it turns out that great devil Lord Zhou is so ignorant and ill-informed. The true body of the void fragmentation realm master of our serene heaven palace, Sovereign Chu, is a blood dragon. Even though this matter has yet to be spread out, many experts in the Rain Palace are well aware of it. Yu Cheng gently approached him and teased him. He really did not know that Chu Chang was the blood dragon. In the Rain Palace, there were a total of 11 void fragmentation realm experts. Among them, the Rain Sovereign's position was the highest. There were 4 great void fragmentation realm experts under the Rain Sovereign. All of them were figures of the previous generations. Below the 4 great void fragmentation realm experts, there were another 7 great divine children. All of them were trained by the Rain Palace to attain the void fragmentation realm. Unfortunately, the 4th divine child was killed by Yun Tianjue with a single sword strike not long after he attained the void fragmentation realm. Old Man Chu was one of the 4 great void fragmentation realm experts. Yu Cheng, Er's master, was also one of them. There was one thing that Ning Fan could not understand. If Old Chu is a blood dragon, he would naturally be a member of the demon race. As a member of the demon race, he shouldn't have joined the Rain Palace. Why was he still able to become the palace master of the Rain Palace? On the other hand, Ning Fan understood the other question. When he first met Chu Chang, and he already felt that he was a void fragmentation realm fire cultivator. Why didn't the Rain Palace directly send Old Man Chu there to nurture a void fragmentation realm fire cultivator and recruit him instead? At this moment, Ning Fan finally understood that it was because Old Man Chu was a member of the Blood Dragon clan. He was a demon and a member of a foreign race. Those who are not of the same race will certainly have different intentions. I'm afraid the Rain Sovereign does not trust this person at all. May I ask, Miss Chong, how did Old Man Chu enter the Rain Palace? Sovereign Chu is the demon pet of the previous Rain Sovereign. Before Yu Cheng could say anything, Yu Bai sent Ning Fan a telepathic message with an obscure expression. Demon pets did not sound nice. Of course, he could not say it in public. As soon as Yu Bai finished speaking, he raised his head and watched the battle between a human and a dragon without saying anything. The other divine transformation realm experts had the same feeling. They were carefully savoring the battle between void fragmentation realm experts in the sky, trying to comprehend something from it. Ning Fan understood them tacitly and did not ask any more questions. He just stared at the blood dragon thoughtfully. Old Man Chu was a member of the Blood Dragon clan. However, his bloodline was a little inferior. It was only at the true grade and was far from the royal grade. However, his innate talent should be quite good. Otherwise, he would not have been able to reach the second heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. Ning Fan placed his palm on his storage pouch and his mind raced. His blood dragon demon sword was made from the dragon bone of a heavenly demon blood dragon. Heavenly demons were true immortals among the demon race. Naturally, they were not to be underestimated. If this sword is refined by Old Man Chu, it should not be difficult for him to advance his bloodline to the third heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. Ning Fan made a plan. He wanted to use this blood sword to rope in Old Man Chu and make him his fighter. All of these were, of course, prepared for the battle of the ancient heavenly court. Moksha Sovereign would eventually go to the sword world to eliminate the old devil. However, before that, he would first go to the ancient heavenly court and eliminate the old devil on his way back. Ning Fan's plan was to eliminate Moksha Sovereign in the heavenly court. Naturally, the more void fragmentation realm fighters he had, the better. It was unknown how many people Wei Xian could invite. It was also unknown whether the rogue devil could successfully control him. Ning Fan's cultivation base when he ascended to the ancient heavenly court was also unknown. It was necessary to rope in void fragmentation realm experts. Ning Fan had to rely on his own hands to find some void fragmentation realm experts to help him. The value of this blood sword should be enough to exchange for Old Man Chu's help. However, there is a problem. Currently, I don't have the strength to negotiate with Old Man Chu at all. He is a void fragmentation realm expert. If he knows that I have the blood sword, why would he need to agree to my request? He can just rob me directly. How am I going to keep the blood sword? Senior Yin might be able to protect me for a while, but he can't protect me forever. In this case, even though it is possible to rope Old Man Chu in, now is not the right time to do so. Ning Fan's eyes gradually calmed down. Without equal strength, he would not have the right to negotiate. Fortunately, there were still more than 60 years before the opening of the ancient heavenly court. In the remaining 60 years, Ning Fan might not be able to break through to the void fragmentation realm, but it should not be difficult to find other void fragmentation realm fighters. As long as I bring Mei Chun out of the demon sinister forest in the future, she would be a void fragmentation realm helper. If Luo Yu of the profound Yin world regains her primordial spirit power, she might also become a void fragmentation realm helper. When Ning Fan has a void fragmentation realm foundation by his side, he would certainly succeed in negotiating with Old Man Chu. There are still 60 years. Ning Fan clenched his fists tightly. The battle in the sky had already been decided. Banged at in the intense collisions, the blood dragon was gradually losing to Yin Tianjue. The reason why he could fight to this stage was because Yin Tianjue did not use any sword techniques from the beginning to the end. He just held his giant sword and slashed horizontally. The blood dragon's breathing gradually became heavier. His eyes were filled with emotion. He extinguished the lamp and dispersed his dragon body, turning back into the body of a red-haired old man with a bitter smile. As expected of the white-robed sword god, I heard that you defeated Jian Huang with a single sword attack, when you were only at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm in the past. At first, I didn't believe it. Now, it seems like you have already regained your strength at the fourth heavenly layer. Your Tao of Sword is so strong that you can even fight against a fifth heavenly layer cultivator. It's not surprising that you defeated Jian Huang. Thank you for letting me win. Yin Tianjue kept his sword and descended. Old Man Chu also descended. Both of them were calm and indifferent. They were not obsessed with the outcome of the battle. Yin Jinghong was the only one who looked defeated. Yesterday he was still arrogant towards Yin Tianjue. Today he did not even have the courage to face him. In the Rain Palace, other than the Rain Sovereign himself, Who else could defeat a second heavenly layer void fragmentation realm expert without using magic techniques? Yin Tianjue defeated Chu Chang, and with just a few casual sword attacks. If he wanted to, he could instantly kill Chu Chang, and with a single sword attack. He could even kill a second heavenly layer void fragmentation realm expert instantly, let alone Yin Jinghong, who was at the first heavenly layer. Yin Jinghong's forehead was filled with cold sweat. His strength was not on the same level as Yin Tianjue at all. Yin Tianjue has broken through the Sin Seal. Now, I'm afraid even my father won't be able to suppress him anymore. It's fortunate that he can't remember what happened in the past. Otherwise, I'm afraid that my second brother and I would end up like my fourth brother, getting killed by him with a single sword attack. The Divine Transformation Realm experts of the Serene Heaven Palace got off the Kuei Nyo one by one and greeted the 3 Void Fragmentation Realm experts. Ning Fan also greeted the 3 Void Fragmentation Realm experts. His eyes lingered on Old Man Chu for a few times, but he did not say anything in the end. You guys arrived 2 hours earlier than me. Old Man Chu's expression was a little unnatural. Originally, he wanted to fight against Yin Tianjue while the juniors were not around. However, he did not expect that the juniors would arrive so quickly. His appearance when he was defeated by Yin Tianjue had already been seen by these juniors. His prestige had been greatly damaged. In reply to Emperor Chu's words, normally, we would encounter demon beasts after crossing the Blood River, and it would take us at least 4 hours to reach this place. However, today's situation was special. There were actually no demon beasts in the Blood River that could stop us from advancing. Therefore, it only took us 2 hours to get here. Yu Bai replied, "Oh, they weren't attacked by the demon beasts? This is a little strange. That group of demon beasts has yet to be tamed. They would bite anyone they see." Old Man Chu's eyes swept across Kuei Nyo and the other Divine Transformation Realm experts. He shook his head as he could not figure it out. However, when his eyes fell on Ning Fan, he vaguely felt a sense of intimacy. However, he did not think too much about it. Why are 4 people missing? 7th Prince. Why didn't the 4 revered elders that you brought with you come? Don't they want to enter the blood pool anymore? Old Man Chu said with displeasure. I don't know where they went. However, if we ask Zhou Ming, we might be able to find the answer. Yin Jinghong's brows sank, and his eyes coldly glanced at Ning Fan. He was well aware of the temperament of his 4 subordinates. He was the one who brought them here. Even if the 4 of them were afraid of the blood dragon pool, they would certainly not dare to run away. Perhaps the 4 of them were greedy after seeing Ning Fan obtain the 3 pots of dragon blood yesterday. That was why they went to look for Ning Fan in the middle of the night. Today, the 4 of them did not return, and he had also lost contact with them. Ning Fan, on the other hand, was completely unharmed. Yin Jinghong could not help but speculate. I'm afraid that these 4 idiots were defeated by Zhou Ming. It can't be Yin Tianjue. The fact that their life plates are not broken is the evidence. If Yin Tianjue is the one who attacked them, how could the 4 of them survive given his brutal personality? It's probably that Zhou Ming's doing. However, there's one thing I can't figure out. This young man is only at the peak Divine Transformation realm. He could barely suppress Yin Yan by relying on his inextinguishable fire body. As for the other 4 half-step Void Refinement Realm experts, other than Yin Yan, they are all half-step Void Refinement Realm experts. How could 4 half-step Void Refinement Realm experts be defeated by a single Zhou Ming? Ask Zhou Ming? 7th Prince, you can't simply speak nonsense. With Old Man Chu's intelligence, as soon as he heard that Yin Jinghong was referring to Ning Fan, he immediately understood the deeper meaning of his words. He thought to himself, could it be that the 4 venerated beings were tempted by Ning Fan and secretly attacked him? Old Man Chu shook his head. He did not think that Ning Fan had the strength to capture 4 half-step Void Refinement Realm experts. Only Void Refinement Realm experts could capture 4 half-step Void Refinement Realm experts alive. Ning Fan, who was just at the peak Divine Transformation realm, could not do it. Yin Tianjue's eyes widened slightly. He did not interrupt, as if he was going to let Ning Fan handle everything. Ning Fan's expression was calm. He cupped his fists and replied, "This junior doesn't understand what you mean, 7th Prince. You don't need to understand. I have a secret technique that can search a cultivator's soul and memory without erasing their consciousness. Let me search your memories, and you will know everything yourself. Of course, this technique will slightly harm the foundation of your sea of consciousness. However, if I find out that the 4 of them were indeed captured by you after the soul search, you deserve to be injured. If it has nothing to do with you, I will give you some pills as compensation. As soon as Yun Jinghong's words fell, his large hand suddenly reached out to grab Ning Fan. All of a sudden, Ning Fan's body was suppressed by the green cloud qi. He could not move at all. His face was filled with anger. This Yun Jinghong actually wanted to search his memories in front of everyone. Although Yun Jinghong had suffered a few setbacks in Yun Tianjue's hands, he was still a void fragmentation realm old monster after all. Even a void refinement realm expert would not be able to escape from the might of his claw, let alone Ning Fan. The cloud qi, which was obviously soft and gentle, fell on Ning Fan's body, making him feel as if his internal organs were burning. Each of the wisps of soft cloud qi was as heavy as 1,000 zhang tall mountain. When all of the cloud qi were added together, Ning Fan felt as if thousands of huge mountains were pressing down on his back. The pain was indescribable. There was even a trace of cloud qi which tried to enter Ning Fan's sea of consciousness to search his memories. Even a late void refinement realm expert would probably kneel on the ground after being suppressed by the cloud qi. Ning Fan's bones creaked under the tremendous pressure. His kneecaps were on the verge of breaking and his white robes were stained with blood. However, he refused to kneel. His eyes turned cold. Inwardly, he knew that he was definitely not a match for Yun Jinghong. A trace of blood trickled down from the corner of his mouth, and his eyes became even colder. His divine intent of memory surrounded his body. It was actually ready to alter his memories at any time. This was the second step of divine intent. It could alter one's memories. If Ning Fan really could not resist Yun Jinghong's soul search, he would alter his memories so that Yun Jinghong could not see his many secrets and the fact that he captured the 4 venerated beings. In that case, let's see what else Yun Jinghong has to say. This brat is quite stubborn. 7th Prince, this is most likely a misunderstanding. You should stop. Old Manchu's eyes flashed with a hint of praise. He was praising Ning Fan's unyielding character. Whether it's a misunderstanding or not, you will know after searching his soul. If it's a misunderstanding, I will naturally compensate him. Just as Ning Fan was about to decide to alter his memories, a ray of sword light suddenly rose and shattered Yun Jinghong's cloud qi. When the sword light swept across, Yun Jinghong felt the danger of being pierced by thousands of swords. His expression changed drastically. Yun Tianjue, what do you mean by this? Nothing much. I'm just testing his courage. Now that I've tried it, I'm very satisfied with his courage. As for you, Yun Tianjue's sword qi swayed. The tip of his sword pointed to the sky and drew a semicircle in the air. His sword intent suddenly multiplied from 1 to 10,000, containing endless mysterious sword principles. In the next breath, all the clouds within 100,000 li were shattered by the sword light. Hundreds of millions of rays of sword light descended from the sky. As the sword light swept across, Yun Jinghong coughed out a mouthful of blood. He was almost directly buried under the sword light. The reason why he did not die was because Yun Tianjue did not want to kill him. He wanted to avoid trouble. That was all. How dare you touch my man? Yun Tianjue said arrogantly. Yun Jinghong was sent flying 1,000 li away by the sword attack. When he landed on the ground, a huge pit was formed. Myriad sword style. He was afraid. He had never been so afraid of Yun Tianjue before. That sword attack was one of the 3 styles of Yun Tianjue's sword techniques. It was the technique that he used to kill the 4th prince in the past. That sword attack was the sword technique that made Yun Tianjue famous. In the past, Yun Jinghong, who had yet to break through to the void fragmentation realm, had caught a glimpse of that sword from afar. He was nearly scared to death. Yun Jinghong had never thought that even though he had broken through to the void fragmentation realm, he would still only be qualified to look up at that sword attack. He would not be able to withstand it at all. What he did not expect the most was that Yun Tianjue, who had never cared about his own family, would actually draw his sword for a stranger. If he had known this would happen, he would never dare to search Ningfan's memories. Hiss. The destructive power of Yin Tianjue's sword attack shocked all the divine transformation realm cultivators. After all, a void fragmentation realm expert was sent flying like a fly. No one would be able to remain calm. Even Old Man Chu was astonished. If Yin Tianjue used this sword during the battle against him, Old Man Chu would probably not be able to withstand even a single attack, and would be severely injured. Is this the true strength of the white-robed sword god? Ningfan secretly circulated his black star power. His injuries healed at an unimaginable speed. Then he cupped his fists and thanked Yin Tianjue. Thank you for saving me, Senior Yin. He had only met Yin Tianjue once. The latter had absolutely no reason to offend the seventh prince for an outsider like him. He would never forget the humiliation he received from Yin Jinghong today. He would also remember the favor of being saved by Yin Tianjue. I didn't save you. It was just a test. Yin Tianjue's face was still expressionless. The Revered Elder's Order is divided into 3 grades. If you collect 10 bottles of dragon blood this time, I will give you the Revered Elder's Order. If you collect 20 bottles, I will give you a silver token. If you collect 50 bottles, I will give you a gold token. If you collect less than 10 bottles, you will fail the test. Hiss. Yin Tianjue's words fell into everyone's ears. All of them thought that they had misheard him. The reason why Yin Tianjue brought Ningfan to the Blood Dragon Pool was actually for the test of the Revered Elder's Order. Moreover, the standard to pass the test was to collect at least 10 bottles of dragon blood. 10 bottles. Ordinary Revered Elders would be considered experts if they could collect 1 bottle in the Blood Dragon Pool. Even a half-step Void Refinement Realm expert might not be able to collect 10 bottles. Isn't the standard to pass the test a little too high? Even Yu Cheng, who was not on good terms with Ningfan, felt that it was unfair for him. The Blood Dragon Pool would only open once for 1 month. Other than Void Refinement Realm old monsters, who else could collect 10 bottles of dragon blood within 1 month? No one thought that Ningfan could pass the test. However, it did not seem like Yin Tianjue was purposely making things difficult for him. Yin Tianjue had sent a Void Fragmentation Realm cultivator flying in order to save Ningfan. 10 bottles. He can't do it. Old Chu shook his head. He admired Ningfan's pride, but he did not think that Ningfan had the ability to collect 10 bottles of dragon blood. A bottle of dragon blood contained 100 drops of dragon blood. One would need to kill 10 Divine Transformation Realm blood demons to obtain it. To collect 10 bottles of dragon blood, he would need to kill 100 Divine Transformation Realm blood demons within 1 month. To a peak Divine Transformation Realm cultivator, it was an impossible task. Bet. It was Yin Tianjue's first time making a bet with someone. Old Chu was stunned. Isn't the third prince Yin Bushi the one who likes to bet? Since when did the eldest prince learn to bet? I bet that he can collect 50 bottles of dragon blood. Yin Tianjue made another shocking statement. 50 bottles. Eldest prince, you must be joking with me. I bet on my sword and your void fire. As soon as Yin Tianjue finished speaking, he formed a gigantic sword and stabbed it into the ground. His meaning was self-evident. If Ningfan could not collect 50 bottles of dragon blood, the gigantic sword would belong to Chu Chang. And if Ningfan could do it, Chu Chang and's void fire returning to cloud heavenly technique would be his. Alright. I'll bet. Chu Chang and's eyes burned with passion. He knew that the gigantic sword was the inheritance of the Sword Devil. It not only contained the Sword Devil's Tao of Sword, but also Yin Tianjue's Tao of Sword. Using a 6th grade void fire to bet on the inheritance of the Sword Devil, and he would almost certainly win. Even if Chu Chang and did not like to gamble, he was willing to do it. It was a sure win without any loss, wasn't it? Ningfan's gaze swept across Yin Tianjue. He could not see through this person anymore. This person seemed to be very confident about collecting 50 bottles of dragon blood. He actually believed that Ningfan could kill more than 500 Divine Transformation Realm blood demons within a month. Yin Tianjue even bet on the gigantic sword. Ningfan immediately felt a huge pressure. If he did not collect 50 bottles of dragon blood, he wondered if Yin Tianjue would take revenge on him. It seemed like he had to use all his strength in this trip to the blood dragon pool. Otherwise, he was not confident that he could collect 50 bottles of dragon blood. Blood dragon pool open. Little friend Zhou Ming, I'm looking forward to seeing how many bottles of dragon blood you can collect. Chu Chang and chuckled and activated the formation of the blood dragon pool. Each of the divine transformation realm cultivators immediately turned into rays of light and dived into the pool. He believed that he would not lose the bet. Who could collect 50 bottles of dragon blood in a month? Chu Chang An's attention was fully focused on Ning Fan. He was not concerned about Yun Jinghong, who had left with severe injuries. He just wanted to see why Yun Tianjue, who had always been arrogant, would be so confident in a junior. What he wanted to know more was who was Ning Fan to Yun Tianjue. How could Yun Tianjue, who was deeply attached to the sword, make a bet with him? If it wasn't because he could not sense any trace of the Rain Palace's bloodline from Ning Fan's body, he would almost think that Ning Fan was Yun Tianjue's son. Chapter 390. Chi rays of escaping light entered the blood pool one after another. However, they were swept away by the water waves and teleported away. Ning Fan was carrying a fiery red dragon scale with the number 17 on it. Every cultivator who entered the pool would be given a dragon scale by Elder Chu. The dragon scales with different numbers would teleport the cultivator to different areas after entering the pool. As soon as the light of teleportation faded, Ning Fan's figure appeared in the area where there was no water at the bottom of the pool. Above his head hung a few 100,000 zhang of deep pool water. His feet stepped on the wet red soil, and his surroundings were filled with blood mist swamps. Below the blood pool, there was a completely different world which was divided into 3 levels. The first level was the blood mist swamp. There were many evil blood demons in this place. Most of them were at the gold core realm or above. Only by killing divine transformation realm blood demons could one obtain dragon blood. The second level even had void refinement realm blood demons. It was extremely dangerous for divine transformation realm cultivators to enter the second level. Even ordinary void refinement realm experts would not be willing to enter it easily. Only void fragmentation realm experts would enter it calmly. The third level was rumored to be a place for seclusion built by the previous Rain Sovereign. For tens of thousands of years, several generations of Rain Sovereigns had cultivated in this place. However, it seemed that since the generation of Red Cloud Rain Sovereign, it had been sealed for some reason and no one could enter it. As for why they could not enter, even the divine transformation realm experts of the Serene Heaven Palace did not know. The above was the information Ning Fan obtained from the revered elders of the Serene Heaven Palace. He even spent some money to exchange for a simple jade slip map from those revered elders. It recorded the rough landforms of the 24 swamps on the first level. He scanned the jade slip with his spirit sense and memorized the map. Then, his spirit sense spread out like a violent gale, sweeping across the area within 100,000 li. The blood chi in this place was extremely thick, and it had a corrosive effect on the spirit sense of cultivators. When ordinary divine transformation realm cultivators enter this place, they could only use the dragon scales that Elder Chu gave them to slightly restrain the blood chi. They would definitely not dare to spread their spirit sense too far away. Ning Fan did not have such concerns. He had been killing all his life and had experienced the sea of blood for a long time. He was not afraid of the blood chi in this place. After a long time, Ning Fan withdrew his spirit sense. There were no other cultivators within 100,000 li other than him. Apart from that, there was a blood lake at the center of the 17th swamp. It was the path that led to the second level. Ning Fan shook his head. He did not have the ambition to head to the second floor and challenge the void refinement realm blood demons. With his current strength, he could barely fight against an early void refinement realm cultivator. At most, he could protect himself from death. Killing an early void refinement realm cultivator was just a pipe dream. Even if he possessed 3 void refinement realm spiritual puppets, who could guarantee that he would not be besieged by more than 3 void refinement realm spiritual puppets after entering the second floor? At that time, Ning Fan would not be able to guarantee his safety. His goal was to collect 50 bottles of dragon blood, which meant that he had to kill 500 divinity transformation stage blood demons. Within the 24 swamps on the first floor, there were definitely enough blood demons for Ning Fan to slaughter. Thus, there was no need for him to take the risk. Roar! Within the swamp, there were blood trees everywhere. In the center of the dense forest, nearly 1,000 strange dragon roars suddenly sounded out. As soon as the roars resounded, nearly 1,000 rotting blood-red demonic beasts turned into rays of light and rushed out of the dense forest, charging at Ning Fan. These blood demons did not have very high intelligence. They were existences between demon beasts and corpse puppets. Most of them were half-human and half-dragon. Once they discovered that a living person had entered, they would attack recklessly. Among the 1,000 blood demons, most of them were at the Gold Core realm. 11 of them were at the Nascent Soul realm, and 1 of them was at the Early Divine Transformation realm. To ordinary Divine Transformation realm cultivators, being besieged by this group of demonic beasts would most likely be quite dangerous. To Ning Fan, a mere 1,000 blood demons were not worth mentioning at all. Even if there was an Early Divine Transformation realm blood demon among them. Chi sword light suddenly rose from Ning Fan's eyes. His sword sense spread out in a frenzy and black sword chi swept across all directions. As the sword sense swept across them, each of the blood demons instinctively showed fear. Before they could even scream, they were already minced into pieces by the sword sense. Dirty blood flowed everywhere. With the current strength of Ning Fan's sword sense, he could almost instantly kill any blood demon below the Divine Transformation realm. As for the Early Divine Transformation realm blood demon, it was already struck by the sword sense before it could react. 2 of its demon arms were forcefully cut off. With a miserable cry, it turned around and fled. Unfortunately, how could a mere Early Divine Transformation realm blood demon escape from Ning Fan's palm? A ray of starlight sword shadow shot out from Ning Fan's glabella and pierced through the air, piercing through the body of the Divine Transformation realm blood demon. How could a mere Early Divine Transformation realm blood demon withstand the might of a peak-grade spiritual treasure? It let out a miserable cry and died. At the place where the blood demon died, 11 drops of dark red blood floated up and went into Ning Fan's hand. Then he casually sealed it into a jade pot. 11 drops. Ordinary Divine Transformation realm blood demons would have 10 drops of dragon blood. The reason why this blood demon has 11 drops of dragon blood is probably related to the fact that it is close to breaking through to the mid-Divine Transformation realm. Does this mean that the higher the cultivation level of the blood demon, the more dragon blood it will be able to produce? Ning Fan muttered to himself. Then he spread his fooly wings and flapped them, disappearing without a trace. In the 17th swamp, the roars of beasts and cries of agony could be heard coming from all directions. Half a day later, Ning Fan swept through the 17th swamp and killed a total of 31 Divine Transformation realm blood demons. Among them, the strongest ones were 3 peak Divine Transformation realm blood demons. Outside the deepest and dense forest, Ning Fan stopped his movement light, and his eyes narrowed slightly. In the 17th swamp, almost all the Divine Transformation realm blood demons were wiped out by him alone. Only this place still had Divine Transformation realm chi. Within the dense forest, there were nearly 10 obscure yet powerful chi. All of them had reached the Divine Transformation realm. Among them, the one with the highest cultivation base was actually at the half-step void refinement realm. As soon as they sensed Ning Fan's arrival, 100,000 blood demons immediately rushed out and attacked him with strange roars. 100,000 golden core cultivators, 500 nascent soul cultivators, and 11 soul formation cultivators. Among them, the half-step void refinement realm blood demon had a 4,000 zhang tall rotten beast body. Its aura force was extremely strong. It seemed to be the king of this group of blood demons. Beast kings. Ning Fan's eyes turned solemn. He did not expect that a king beast could be born from a blood demon with low spiritual intelligence. Ordinary soul formation realm cultivators would have been torn to pieces if they were to run into the army of beast kings. Roar. As the king beast roared, countless shadows of beasts rose into the air and charged toward him. At the end of the day, they were just blood demons with low intelligence. Although there were many of them, they didn't even know how to form a formation. To Ning Fan, who possessed sword sense, no matter how many low-grade enemies there were, as long as they could not get into a formation and converge their strength, they were nothing to be afraid of at all. Destroy. Tens of thousands of golden core cultivators died with a sweep of his sword sense. After 2 sweeps, the golden cores were all dead. After 3 rounds, none of the 500 nascent soul cultivators survived. Among the 11 divine transformation realm blood demons, for early soul formation realm blood demons were severely injured by the sword sense. Roar. The king beast seemed to be extremely furious. It led the divine transformation realm cultivators to besiege Ning Fan. 11 gigantic beasts that were more than 3,000 zhang in size rushed toward Ning Fan while treading on mountains and rivers. Ning Fan raised one of his hands, and the Separation Slayer sword split into 11 sword shadows, sweeping at the 11 gigantic beasts. The power of the flying sword shadow of a peak spiritual treasure was incredible. 4 early divine transformation realm ferocious beasts were killed the moment they were hit by the sword shadows. The other ferocious beasts were also injured to varying degrees. Only the 2 peak divine transformation realm blood demons and the half-step void refinement realm beast king were unharmed after destroying the sword shadows with a single claw. Their eyes became even more furious. Roar. The remaining 7 blood demons let out blood-red roars. The blood-red sound waves carried a trace of the power of a dragon's roar, causing Ning Fan's eardrums to ache and the blood in his chest to churn. If he was an ordinary divine transformation realm cultivator, his physical body would probably be destroyed by the sound waves. Break! Ning Fan casually flicked his sleeve, and a cloud of star sand that looked like a blood shadow appeared. As the wind and sand swept across, countless sound waves were forcefully wiped out. Not only could this blood star sand break all kinds of magic treasures, but it also had a miraculous effect against many magic techniques. After breaking the roars of the 7 blood demons, Ning Fan did not give them another chance to fight for their lives. He took a step forward, and his body turned into a black shadow before disappearing. At the next moment, the blood demons were suddenly engulfed by the black shadow one after another. One of them was crushed while the other was solidified. One of the blood demons would definitely die within the black shadow, without leaving behind a complete corpse. The king beast was finally afraid. It had not seen a ruthless person like Ning Fan who could kill divine transformation realm cultivators like ants for many years. Evil creature, don't even think of escaping. After killing 6 blood demons in a row, Ning Fan's incarnation condensed. His black hair and black robes fluttered in the wind. He took a step forward and locked onto the king beast's chi. At the next moment, his chi was crushed and solidified. Boom! The destructive power of the Black Tempest spirit splitting technique minced the dignified half-step void refinement realm king beast into pieces. Ning Fan did not disperse his incarnation in the sea of blood and mountains of rotting corpses. He directly waved his sleeve and obtained 150 drops of dragon blood. Just like that, the 17th swamp was leveled by Ning Fan alone. He killed a total of 42 divine transformation realm blood demons and obtained 540 drops of dragon blood, filling up 5 jade pots. Next, I'll go to the 18th swamp. Ning Fan's black hair and black robes made him look cold and emotionless. He took a step forward and disappeared without a trace, heading straight for the 18th swamp. Half a day later, the 18th swamp was leveled. Another 3 days passed and Ning Fan eliminated the king beast in the 24th swamp. The 24 swamps were arranged in a circular formation. Ning Fan entered the first swamp from the 24th swamp and continued his massacre. Another 6 days passed, and he had already killed more than 800 divine transformation realm blood demons in the 13th swamp. In just 10 days, his incarnation and demon wings were fully activated, and he collected 80 pots of dragon blood. If all 80 pots of dragon blood are used to brew wine, the wine would be 400,000 units of magic power after 10 years. Once the wine is brewed, Ning Fan's breakthrough to the void refinement realm would be as easy as water flowing when the conditions are right. In the 13th swamp, Ning Fan did not carry out a large-scale massacre because he discovered many traces of battles between cultivators in this swamp. Judging from the situation, there was more than one cultivator in this swamp. It was highly possible that all the revered elders of the Serene Heaven Palace had been teleported to this place. After all, the members of the Serene Heaven Palace were the subordinates of Elder Chu. There were also many early and mid-divine transformation realm revered elders among them. It would be extremely dangerous for them to act alone. That was why Elder Chu gave the revered elders of the Serene Heaven Palace a dragon scale from the same area, while he gave Ning Fan a dragon scale for himself. Roar. The roars of king beasts could be heard from afar, accompanied by the miserable cries of cultivators. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. It seemed like the revered elders of the Serene Heaven Palace had encountered the army of king beasts in this swamp. After thinking about it for a while, he realized that Chu Chang and had treated him well, and most of the divine transformation realm cultivators of the Serene Heaven Palace also had a good chat with him, especially Yu Bai, who could be considered as a friend. Since that's the case, I can't just leave them to die. Whoosh! Ning Fan flapped his demon wings and turned into a trace of purple smoke, drifting 100,000 li away. Outside the pool of blood dragons, a one-armed middle-aged man in white robes was sitting cross-legged on the ground. It had already been 10 days. His eyes were still closed and he did not say a word. Beside him, the red-haired Chu Chang, An's eyes were filled with astonishment and astonishment. He was holding a silver jade token in his hand. There were a total of 24 dragon scales inlaid on the jade token. Among them, only the 13th, 14th, 15th and 16th dragon scales were still glowing. The other 20 dragon scales were completely dim. A dragon scale represented the life of a king beast. 20 dragon scales dimming meant that 20 king beasts had died. Chu Chang and complained incessantly. King beasts were different from other blood demons. They were prepared to be raised into void refinement realm blood demons. Yet so many of them had actually died. Moreover, Chu Chang knew who killed these king beasts even with his eyes closed. The first king beast to die was number 17. It happened to be where Ning Fan was. It has only been 10 days, and this young man has already killed 20 of my king beasts. Could it be that this young man is already at the void refinement realm? Even a half-step void refinement realm cultivator wouldn't be able to defeat the king beasts that I raise. To kill 20 king beasts in just 10 days, even the king beasts are dead. Perhaps this young man has already cleared the 20 swamps on the first floor. In terms of killing speed alone, even void refinement realm cultivators might not be able to match him. Chu Chang sighed continuously. He did not expect Ning Fan to be so ferocious. As a result, he even forgot to remind Ning Fan not to kill the king beasts. It was because Chu Chang had never thought that Ning Fan had the strength to kill king beasts. Revered Ming Zhou, this young man is really a monster. Judging from this, I'm afraid he only used 10 days to collect 50 bottles of dragon blood. Your Highness, you've won the bet. Chu Chang and Sai became heavier and heavier. The blood demons that Ning Fan had killed would probably need many years to replenish. In other words, in the next 10 or even hundreds of years, there would rarely be any divine transformation realm ferocious beasts being born in the first floor. As for the venerated elders who come here to collect their blood, it would probably be in vain. At the end of the day, the most difficult ones to raise were still the 20 king beasts. Yin Tianjue quietly listened to Chu Chang's resentment. His brows loosened imperceptibly and his expression became slightly relaxed. It seemed like he was also quite worried about Ning Fan's safety in the end. Worried. There will come a day when I, Yin Tianjue, will also worry about the safety of an outsider. What a joke. Impossible. This is. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, Chu Chang suddenly exclaimed. On the jade token, the dragon scale that represented the 13th king beast had dimmed. However, that was not the thing that shocked him the most. What really shocked him was that the 3 dragon scales on the other golden jade token had dimmed. There were only 24 dragon scales inlaid on the silver jade token, which represented the 24 king beasts. On the other hand, there were 108 dragon scales inlaid on the golden jade token, which represented the void refinement realm blood demons of the second floor. That Zhou Ming actually entered the second floor. Moreover, he killed 3 early void refinement realm blood demons. Chu Chang'an was shocked. It was impossible for a divine transformation realm being to kill a void refinement realm being, let alone fighting 3 of them alone. He was very curious about how Ning Fan did it. At least, Chu Chang knew that when he was at the peak divine transformation realm, he would definitely not be able to kill 3 void refinement realm blood demons alone. Even if he breaks through to the void refinement realm, he would not be able to kill 3 void refinement realm blood demons at the same level as him. For the first time, Chu Chang realized that he had completely underestimated Ning Fan. It was not a coincidence that this young man could kill Flame Revered just because of his inextinguishable fire body. Chapter 391. In the 13th swamp, Yu Bai and the other 12 semi-god realm cultivators were surrounded by blood demons. Apart from Yu Chong, who was not here, all the revered elders of the Serene Heaven Palace who came to the Blood Dragon Pool were trapped here. Within the demon tide, the 12 soul formation supremacies were all injured. Even the 2 peak-level cultivators were severely injured. The half-step void refinement realm revered elder in hemp robes was the only one who was holding a square formation disc, and unleashed a mortal void grade formation light to stop the demon tide from invading the grand formation. The reverend elder in a linen robe looked terrible. Outside the formation, a beast king the size of a mountain was leading the blood beasts to besiege the formation, almost destroying it completely. Unexpectedly, never in their wildest dreams would they have imagined that last Yu Chong would actually cause such a huge disaster. Yu Bai, we're trapped here because of your sister's audacity. She actually went to the forest of beast kings to steal medicine. If I'm lucky enough to survive, I'll make your sister pay. Yu Bai's face was bitter, but he couldn't refute that. He knew that all this trouble was caused by his sister. 10 days ago, a group of revered elders of the Serene Heaven Palace were teleported into the 13th swamp. 3 days ago, Yu Chong had left the group and entered the King Beast forest to steal medicine without permission. However, she had been attacked by a group of beasts and implicated everyone. Even Yu Chong herself had been smashed into the lake of blood by the King Beast's palm strike. She had been smashed into the second layer, and her fate was unknown. On one hand, Yu Bai was worried about his sister's safety, but on the other hand, he felt ashamed of his fellow Taoists. The hemp-robed venerate elder was not lying. If everyone died here, his sister Yu Chong would not be able to escape responsibility. A beast king was not something they could mess with. At this moment, 16 soul formation blood demons were attacking the array light under the leadership of the beast king. The beast king's call attracted more blood demons from all directions, including some wild beasts. Yu Bai was desperate. There were so many semi-god realm cultivators, and they were in the middle of the tide of demons. Once they left the array light, only a few of them could escape. At the very least, Yu Bai knew that he would not be able to kill his way out of the demon horde on his own. I wonder how Brother Zhou is right now. If he is here, perhaps our chances of escaping would be higher. Yu Bai muttered to himself. What can revered Ming do even if he is here? After all, he is only at the peak divine transformation realm. 2 peak divine transformation realm fellow Taoists have already been injured by the King Beast's attack just now. Even I didn't manage to gain any advantage from the King Beast. It doesn't matter whether he comes or not. However, this blood dragon pool is the strangest. It has cut off all sound transmissions from the outside world. Otherwise, we could have asked Emperor Chu to help us. The hemp-robed revered elder let out a long sigh. He was running out of immortal jades and magic power, so it was hard for him to activate the array disc to defend himself. The moment this formation light disappeared was the moment when the life and death of the 12 people would be decided. If he could escape from the blood dragon pool, he would live. If he couldn't, he would die. Even the revered elder in hemp garments did not have 100% chance of survival, let alone the other revered elders. Boom. The Beast King led the demonic beasts to attack the formation again. More and more cracks appeared on the formation, and it looked like it would not be able to withstand the Beast King's attack. Fellow Taoists, get ready. The hemp-robed revered elder's face was filled with determination. The formation light might not be able to withstand the next round of attacks. Once the formation light is destroyed, the fellow Taoists could only run for their lives. Right at this moment, a world-shocking ink-colored sword light suddenly drew open in the sky, turning into a thick black color. The moment the sword light dispersed, tens of thousands of gold core realm blood demons were crushed into blood mist by the sword light, before they could even let out a cry. As the black sword light dyed the sky, a black-haired young man in black robes walked through the demon tide step by step. His sword sense swept across the area again and again. Within the demon tide, the black shadows of the demonic beasts exploded one after another. Strange. This scene was too strange. 100,000 gold core realm blood demons were actually wiped out by someone in just a blink of an eye. Who is it? Who is this person? Could it be a Void Refinement Realm Senior? The eyes of the Divine Transformation Realm revered elders who were in despair suddenly lit up. Even though they could not see the young man's appearance clearly because of the formation light and the blood mist, how could they not know that he was here to save them? The killing strength of this black-robed young man was completely comparable to an early Void Refinement Realm Senior expert. His brother Zhou. Yu Bai's eyes widened in disbelief. When the blood mist gradually dispersed, Yu Bai could clearly see that the black-robed young man was none other than Ning Fan. Actually, there was no need for Yu Bai to remind him. As soon as the blood mist dispersed, which Divine Transformation Realm cultivator could not recognize Ning Fan. However, none of them expected that Ning Fan's strength would actually reach such a level. The technique that instantly killed the group of demons was obviously the sword sense technique. That figure that was shrouded in black qi was obviously the incarnation technique. Venerated Ming actually has so many trump cards and techniques. The hemp-robed revered elder's heart was filled with waves of shock. At this moment, Ning Fan had unleashed his full strength, giving him a feeling of powerlessness and invincibility. Let's get out of the formation quickly and help venerated Ming kill the demons. The few Divine Transformation Realm revered elders said excitedly when they saw Ning Fan's unstoppable aura. There's no need. He alone is enough. The hemp-robed revered elder's expression suddenly became a little dispirited. He was the first one who noticed Ning Fan's baleful qi that he did not conceal at all. It was a very dense baleful qi. Just by probing Ning Fan's body, it had already tainted his spirit sense. This was baleful qi that could only be obtained by killing 1,000 Divine Transformation Realm cultivators and above. There's no doubt about it. The density of this baleful qi definitely required one to kill 1,000 Divine Transformation Realm cultivators and above. The hemp-robed revered elder had always boasted about his outstanding innate talent. He claimed that he was already a heavenly genius after cultivating to the half-step Void Refinement Realm in just 4,000 years. However, compared to Ning Fan, he felt that he could no longer muster up the pride he had in his entire life. The 16 blood demons stared at Ning Fan with fear in their eyes. The king beast even felt a sense of crisis from Ning Fan's body that was as heavy as a mountain. The 600 nascent soul realm blood demons, which had the lowest level of spiritual intelligence, soared into the sky at the same time and attacked Ning Fan. Facing the 600 nascent soul realm blood demons, Ning Fan's eyes were still as cold as before. With a sweep of his sword sense, the demon bodies of the 600 nascent soul realm disintegrated, and blood mist flew everywhere, killing nascent soul realm cultivators in an instant. As his cold eyes swept across the area, the 12 Divine Transformation Realm venerated elders felt a chill down their spines. The 16 wild beast blood demons instinctively took a step back. Their hearts were filled with fear. Roared at the critical moment when the group of beasts was terrified, the king beast roared forcefully and activated the power of its bloodline. The other blood demons gradually cast away their fear, and their eyes became indifferent again. An early Divine Transformation Realm wild beast was even more fearless. It leaped into the sky and charged towards Ning Fan with its body that was as huge as a mountain. The force of the collision was enough to flatten a mountain. Boom! The 1,000 zhang tall wild beast collided with Ning Fan's body. No, to be more precise, it collided with Ning Fan's palm. Immediately, a loud bang that shook the earth and mountains were heard. Facing the powerful collision of the wild beast, Ning Fan just stretched out his palm and pushed it on the lower jaw of the wild beast as if he was pushing something. The force of the push actually stopped the 1,000 zhang tall wild beast from moving forward by 5 zhang. In terms of strength, Ning Fan, who seemed weak and skinny, was a few times stronger than the early divine transformation realm wild beast. This scene was just too shocking. As Ning Fan clawed with his 5 fingers, a terrifying claw force tore 5 cracks in the hollow space. The wild beast was being torn apart by the 5 cracks. It let out a miserable shriek, and its 1,000 zhang body was torn into 6 pieces by Ning Fan's claw. "All of you come at me together," Ning Fan uttered coldly. He took a step forward, and a wave of pressure that could topple mountains and overturn seas swept across the place. 2 mid-divine transformation realm wild beasts leaped into the air. However, they were blasted by Ning Fan's fists with a tremendous force that could move mountains and fill up seas, turning them into minced meat and blood mists. A late divine transformation realm wild beast tried to flee in fear. However, Ning Fan directly grabbed its giant tail and tore it into 2 pieces. His physical body was at the peak of the 3rd level of the Jade Life realm. Under the extreme condition of the corpse devil body, his physical body was as strong as a peak Jade Life realm expert. Every time he threw out a punch, a wild beast would definitely die. Stepping on the corpses of the beasts, Ning Fan's aura force surged. The remaining 1 king beast and 2 peak divine transformation realm wild beasts actually fled desperately. They were afraid. The king beast could sense the chi of the death of 20 king beasts of the same species from Ning Fan's body. Its instincts told it that the black-robed young man in front of it was not someone it could afford to offend. 5 tombs appear. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with cold light. He raised his 5 fingers and clawed at the sky. Suddenly, 5 black dragon tombstones appeared in the sky and struck at the 3 beasts. 2 of the tombstones landed on the 2 peak divine transformation realm wild beasts. With just the force of the tombstones, the 2 beasts were smashed into meat paste. The remaining 3 tombstones landed on the bodies of the 3 king beasts. Even though the scales of the king beasts were extremely tough, their bodies were still smashed into pieces by the tombstones. Their blood flowed like a river. Roar! The king beast had gone mad. It was severely injured by Ning Fan. It knew that it would be difficult for it to survive. The only thing it could do was to fight to the death like a cornered beast. However, Ning Fan did not even give it the chance to attack. He took a step forward and flapped his wings. With a speed that was unbelievably fast, he suddenly appeared above the king beast's head and stomped on it. Boom! The king beast's massive head was directly crushed by Ning Fan's stomp. Its gigantic body fell to the ground and died. Hissed. A chill rose in the hearts of the 12 divine transformation realm experts. From the moment Ning Fan arrived to the scene where he killed the demons, only tens of breaths had passed. Within this short period of time, Ning Fan annihilated the group of demons. Each of the techniques he used was world-shocking. Ning Fan had saved them and annihilated the demon tide. They were supposed to remove the formation light and thank him. However, even the revered elder in hemp robes trembled from the bottom of his heart when he saw the black-robed Ning Fan, who was as cold as ice. He didn't dare to activate the formation light. He was afraid. He was even more afraid of this black-robed Ning Fan compared to facing the tide of 100,000 demons. Even the revered elder in linen robes had a sliver of hope of escaping from a beast king. However, when facing the black-robed Ning Fan, the revered elder in hemp robes only felt that he would die for sure. When Ning Fan's spirit sense broke through to the void refinement realm, once he transformed into the black robes, his body would naturally possess the magic power of the early void refinement realm. With a flick of his sleeve, he kept close to 200 drops of dragon blood. Then he walked towards the formation light step by step and pressed his finger on it. The formation light shattered. "Are you all afraid of me?" Ning Fan said coldly. "Don't dare to. Other than you by," each of the divine transformation realm venerated elders hurriedly explained to Ning Fan. Although he said that he didn't dare, it meant that he was afraid. "Brother Zhou's strength really causes me to be endlessly shocked." Yu Bai bitterly smiled. He never thought that the person he befriended would actually be such a terrifying expert. "Don't worry. Since I've saved you, I won't kill you." Miss Chong isn't here?" Even though Ning Fan's tone was cold, there was a hint of concern in it. When Yu Bai heard it, it slightly reduced his fear towards Ning Fan. I'm afraid Chong won't be able to survive. It has been 3 days since she fell into the blood lake. Even though her life plate is still intact. As soon as Yu Bai finished speaking, he briefly told Ning Fan what had happened. When he heard that Yu Chong fell into the blood lake and fell into the second level of the blood dragon pool, even Ning Fan frowned. There were void refinement realm blood demons in the second level. It had been 3 days since Yu Chong fell into the blood lake. If she's still alive, she would probably be dead by now. Since Yu Bai said that Yu Chong was still alive, he was afraid that she had some means to protect herself and hide herself. That was why she was still alive. However, if this drags on, it would still be difficult for her to survive. The blood dragon pool will be open for a month. Within this 1 month, we won't be able to leave or transmit our voice to the outside world. There are still 20 days before we can leave the dragon pool and seek help from Sovereign Chu. However, I'm afraid Chong will already be dead by then. From the perspective of morality and justice, her recklessness has put many fellow Taoists in danger. It won't be a pity even if she dies 100 times. However, she's my younger sister after all. I've decided to go to the second level and save her. Even if I die on the second level, it's still my fate. However, I still have some spiritual herbs in my storage pouch. They were collected from my mother's illness. I'll have to trouble Brother Zhou to send them back to the Yu clan for me. In this way, even if I die, I won't have gotten to know Brother Zhou in vain. Yu Bai's face was filled with the intention to die. What a filial son and a virtuous brother. He took out the storage pouch and passed it to Ning Fan, showing the intention to entrust his younger sister to him. However, Ning Fan did not take it. He suddenly turned around and took a step forward. Then he turned into purple smoke and went into the blood lake. It shouldn't be difficult for me to bring her back. You won't be able to do anything even if you go. After hearing what Ning Fan said, Yu Bai's expression changed drastically. He wanted to stop Ning Fan, but it was already too late. If Ning Fan dies because of his younger sister, he would not be able to absolve himself from the blame. Brother Zhou. Yu Bai wanted to go with Ning Fan and lend him a hand. However, he was stopped by the revered elder in hemp robes and the others. If you go, you'll just be a burden. With venerated Ming's strength, as long as he's careful, even the void refinement realm ferocious beasts on the second level won't attack him recklessly. Venerated Ming is a man who knows his limits. If he can't save her, he won't risk his life in vain. As soon as he finished speaking, all the revered elders fell into silence. If there were still people who suspected that Ning Fan was a clumsy and vile person just now, none of them would have such a ridiculous thought anymore. How could a person who would risk his life to save his friend's younger sister be a vile person? At least, Ning Fan's current actions made the revered elders of the righteous path feel ashamed of their inferiority. It's ridiculous that we claim to be righteous but we're still not as good as a devil cultivator. Is it really worth it for us to be so stubborn and calculative? The Tao hearts of the divine transformation realm revered elders at the scene were shaken. Ning Fan leaped into the blood lake and pushed his speed to the limit. He went all the way down to the second level. The reason why he saved Yu Chong was not because of her beauty, nor was it because of his reputation or morality. It was just to repay Yu Bai for getting up and greeting him. That was all. He would certainly not risk his life for Yu Chong. However, if he could save her, he would certainly help her a little. Appear. As soon as he appeared in the second level, Ning Fan summoned his 3 great void refinement realm spiritual puppets, without any hesitation. With the combat power of his incarnation, which was comparable to the void refinement realm, and the 3 void refinement realm spiritual puppets, he should be fine as long as he returns quickly even though he was in the second level. When he landed on the ground, Ning Fan scanned the area with his spirit sense. There were actually many traces of battle within 100,000 li, which seemed to be left behind by Yu Chong. Luckily, most of the traces were divine transformation realm battles. It seemed like Yu Chong was being hunted by a divine transformation realm cultivator. Luckily, she did not encounter any void refinement realm cultivators when she first fell into the blood lake. Otherwise, she would probably have died a long time ago. Even if she did not encounter any void refinement realm cultivators, It was still extremely dangerous for an early divine transformation realm woman to travel in the second level. It has been 3 days since she entered the second level. I can search for her by following her escape route. If I can't find her, I'll return quickly. Ning Fan flapped his wings, and together with the 3 spiritual puppets, they turned into 4 rays of light and chased after Yu Chong. Most of the blood demons that they encountered along the way were at the nascent soul realm and above. After flying for half a day, they encountered at least 50 wild beasts, which were intercepted by Ning Fan and the 3 spiritual puppets. If Ning Fan used his strongest strength on the first level, then he used all the power he could use on the second level, including his spiritual puppets. After half a day of flying, the messy bloodstains along the way were getting closer and closer to them. In a secluded valley, countless roars of beasts could be heard. A pale-looking silver-armored young lady, who was wrapped in a black cloak, was holding a stalk of spiritual medicine in her hand. Her delicate body was stained with blood and her face was pale. She was staring at the ferocious beasts that surrounded her. 140 wild beasts and 3 void refinement realm blood demons. Even if I have the heaven-deceiving cloak that my master gave me, I won't be able to escape. What should I do? The young lady pursed her pale lips tightly. Her heart was filled with reluctance. It took her a lot of effort to find this stock of spiritual medicine. She finally had the hope of curing her mother. The reason why she went to the Forest of Beast Kings to steal medicinal herbs was just for this stock of spiritual medicine. If I can't escape, who is going to save my mother? Big Brother must hate me to death. I was too impulsive and implicated so many people. Seeing the group of beasts swarming towards them after the 3 void refinement realm beasts roared, the young lady's face immediately turned pale. And no. As soon as the black light dispersed, countless rays of sword light suddenly exploded in the secluded valley. Groups of nascent soul realm blood demons were torn to pieces and died. Yu Chong suddenly felt that her body was very light, as if she was flying. When she looked down, she saw a strong arm hugging her chest horizontally, pulling her into his embrace. That palm happened to press on one of her breasts. However, the owner of that arm did not seem to realize that he was being rash. Yu Chong turned around and her small mouth opened slightly. It was hard for her to close it because the person who saved her was actually Ning Fan. Her nose turned sour, and she actually began to sob. Zizhou Ming, why did you come to save me? I don't want you to save me. Be quiet for a while. Ning Fan's eyes darkened. His mind was completely focused on the ferocious beasts that were coming from all directions. How could he have the time to care about Yu Chong'er's thoughts? Kill. As soon as he gave the order, the 3 void refinement realm spiritual puppets threw out punches. All the ferocious beasts that were hit by the punches were either killed or injured. The group of beasts was thrown into chaos. Ning Fan, on the other hand, held Yu Chong in his arms and fled with the 3 spiritual puppets without any hesitation. What a joke! There were 100 wild beasts and 3 void refinement realm spiritual puppets. No matter how many trump cards Ning Fan had, he would not be foolish enough to risk his life to fight them. Moreover, once the battle begins, it would certainly attract more ferocious beasts because of the fluctuations. At that time, he would not be able to escape from the calamity. Void refinement realm spiritual puppets. There are actually 3 of them. How is this possible? Yu Chong shrank in Ning Fan's arms with a stunned expression. She could not imagine that Ning Fan, whom she looked down upon previously, actually had such powerful spiritual puppets to protect himself. Even the aristocratic families of the Rain World might not necessarily have void refinement realm spiritual puppets. She wanted to ask him, but she knew that it was more important to escape now. It was not the right time to ask. Yu Chong gently turned her head and saw the ferocious beasts that were chasing after them relentlessly. Her scalp went numb. Among them, the fastest one was a void refinement realm ferocious beast. It was almost 3,000 zhang behind Ning Fan. Its scorching breath could almost reach Yu Chong'er's face. She even saw that gigantic beast open its huge mouth and spit out a blood-red aurora at Ning Fan's back. Be careful, she exclaimed. At the next moment, the aurora engulfed Ning Fan, Yu Chong, and the 3 spiritual puppets. Roared out a ferocious and complacent roar resounded through the dense forest. In the eyes of that void refinement realm ferocious beast, this aurora was more than enough to kill Ningfan and the others. Chapter 392. Roar. Accompanied by the beast's roar, the blood-colored aurora became even stranger. Everything that was swept by the aurora would freeze into blood-colored ice crystals. Within a radius of 30,000 meters, all the trees, land, and even some innocent blood demons were frozen in ice. Ningfan and the others were trapped inside the ice crystals, unable to move at all. Even a half-step void refinement realm expert would find it hard to break free from the ice. Ningfan's entire body was wrapped in black devil flames. The combined power of the 12 types of heavenly cold flames and earth flames was completely comparable to a 7th-grade void flame. Once the flames soared, all the ice crystals within 100,000 feet melted. The 3 puppets regained their ability to move. Yucheng also regained her ability to breathe. However, she was still curled up in Ningfan's arms. Even her teeth were trembling. However, she clenched her teeth stubbornly and did not complain about the cold. In Yucheng's mind, the power of that blood-red aurora was way too terrifying. The power of the ice seal had most likely reached the level of mortal void cold chi. Even though the ice was at such a high level, it was directly incinerated by Ningfan's devil flames. It was enough to show how domineering his devil flames were. It was also because Ningfan did not have enough magic power to fully unleash the destructive power of this flame. Otherwise, no void refinement realm expert would dare to face this flame head-on. How can he be so powerful? This is unbelievable. No matter how much Yucheng hated Ningfan, she had to admit that Ningfan's strength was undoubtedly strong. That kind of strength was tempered through a long period of danger. When killing, his attacks were like lightning, and he didn't even blink. He wouldn't stop until he was dead. From the bottom of her heart, Yucheng, who was a young lady who was about to die in despair, was suddenly saved by a young man. She could not help but feel grateful and have a good impression of Ningfan. She understood how to repay kindness. Thus, even though Ningfan's palm was pressing on her chest, her face was still red and she did not resist. I can't escape. Ningfan's eyes turned cold. Even though he managed to break free from the aurora light, he was still surrounded by the group of demons when he was sealed in ice. Ningfan did not bother to explain too much to Yucheng. Instead, he directly used his plucking finger to knock her out, and kept her in his cauldron ring. Yucheng fainted. His eyes were filled with battle intent. It was obvious that he was going to fight a bloody battle with the demons. It was not difficult for the 3 void refinement realm beings to deal with. He would have to deal with the rest of the semi-god realm cultivators. Appear. 7 soul formation puppets and 1 black dragon refined corpse were all taken out. Almost as if they had a tacit understanding, both sides launched a tide-like attack in the next instant. Soul extraction. Star-fixing plate appear. In the face of the demon tide, Ningfan showed no fear at all. He stretched out his 5 fingers, and the soul of the earth was sucked into his body. His magic power improved once again. The star positioning plate rose into the sky, and turned into a massive star map that stretched 100,000 li. Half of the 30,000 star lamps were lit up by Ningfan. Within the range of the star map, the physical defense of all the blood demons was slightly weakened. Under the cover of the starlight, the defense of the group of demonic beasts, Ningfan and the others rose to a terrifying level. Under the enhancement of the starlight from the star positioning plate, the defense of any puppet was strong enough to withstand the attack of a half-step void refinement realm expert. Furthermore, the starlight had the effect of reflecting the enemy's attacks. Ningfan's magic power was getting stronger and stronger. It was the first time he was able to use the star positioning plate in such a manner. In other words, the time-fixing plate was not only a defensive treasure, but it was also an extremely powerful auxiliary treasure with a bright future. Roar. The roars of the demonic beasts could be heard. Some of them were angry and some of them were miserable. The few half-step void refinement realm wild beasts suddenly realized that their combined strength was only enough to injure the late divine transformation realm spiritual puppets. It was not enough to kill them in a single blow. This was just too illogical. In this way, it was not easy for these divine transformation realm spiritual puppets to be killed, and they could slightly delay the demon tide. As for the 3 void refinement realm spiritual puppets, almost at the same time as Ningfan gave the order, each of them sent 3 void refinement realm ferocious beasts flying. Then they immediately stood together. At this moment, the balance of the situation was balanced. As Ningfan's killing spree increased, the balance of the situation began to tilt towards Ningfan and the others. While fighting against 9 wild beasts alone, Ningfan still had the strength to sweep away his sword sense. His physical body was extremely strong. Each of his punches could collapse mountains and rivers. In just a few exchanges of punches, 4 of the 9 wild beasts were killed. Ningfan, on the other hand, suffered quite a number of attacks on his body. However, his incarnation gradually recovered after breaking and solidifying. In the vast sky above his head, 5 black stars were floating. These black starlight shrouded Ningfan's body. It was even faster than the self-healing speed of his incarnation. The injuries caused by mere wild beasts healed within a breath's time. Ningfan did not have 1 million natal stars. It was impossible for him to survive the joint attacks of immortal emperors. However, since he had 5 natal stars, it was not difficult for him to survive the joint attacks of the wild beasts. His eyes became even colder. As soon as the Black Tempest soul-splitting technique dispersed, the remaining 5 wild beasts died tragically. At the same time, a late divine transformation realm spiritual puppet was also destroyed by the group of demons. Ningfan did not have the time to feel sorry for the puppet. With an even stronger killing intent, he rushed towards the 12 wild beasts that were attacking his spiritual puppet. Boom! He killed a late divine transformation realm wild beast with a single punch. He killed a peak-grade wild beast with a single stomp. 8 of the 12 wild beasts were instantly killed by Ningfan. Now he was fighting against the remaining 4 half-step void refinement realm wild beasts. The physical bodies of the half-step void refinement realm wild beasts were already incredible. Moreover, they were attacking from all sides. Even with the strength of his physical body, Ningfan gradually fell into a disadvantageous position. A ray of purple light shone in his eyes. Purple mist suddenly dispersed. Within the mist, the 4 half-step void refinement realm wild beasts were directly turned into smoke and disappeared. Wherever the mist reached, hundreds of nascent soul realm cultivators and a dozen wild beasts were also turned into ashes. Ningfan panted slightly. It was the first time that he ran out of magic power. Each of his trump cards consumed his magic power. If his magic power is depleted, he would not be able to display any powerful magic techniques no matter how powerful his techniques were. Without caring about the swelling pain in his immortal veins, Ningfan patted his storage pouch and took out an entire bottle of 5 Revolutions spirit-restoring pills and consumed all of them. The immense medicinal power nearly caused his immortal veins to explode. Ningfan did not even have the time to carefully refine the medicinal power. Instead, he forcefully refined the medicinal power into magic power and began his massacre once again. The price he had to pay for forcefully consuming the medicinal power was blood trickling out from the corner of his mouth and some internal injuries. However, with the self-recovery incarnation and the Black Star technique, Ningfan was not afraid of getting injured. Seeing that another late divine transformation puppet was about to be killed, Ningfan took a step forward and rushed into the battlefield. His killing intent swept across the battlefield, causing the group of beasts to retreat hurriedly. Die. As soon as he activated the heart formation, 5,000 tall and straight sword mountains rose from the ground. Almost immediately, nearly 20 wild beasts were trapped within the formation of the sword mountains. All of them were at a loss of what to do. They did not see Ningfan taking out his formation plate at all, nor did they see him setting up a grand formation here. How could a gigantic formation suddenly appear out of nowhere? After all, they had no idea that this was the heart formation technique of the Hiluo sect. With the formation diagram in one's heart, why would one need external objects to set up a formation? Qi 5,000 traces of primordial Qi sword light swept across the sword formation. Within the eastern profound sword formation, the wild beasts began to die miserably. Ningfan's magical power flowed out like the tide. He took a few more spirit-restoring pills, and a raging black flame rose from his palm. The sea of fire spread out, and the fire palms spread out. One after another, the wild beasts died under the samadhi fire palms. The demon tide became smaller, and the number of wild beasts decreased. Under Ningfan's devil might, even the wild beasts that were far away did not dare to come to his aid. There were only 50 wild beasts left. 40, 30, 20. Ningfan's injuries became more and more severe. Almost all of his divine transformation realm spiritual puppets and refined corpses were severely injured. Unless they are repaired, they would not be able to be used again. Ningfan and his 3 void refinement realm spiritual puppets were the only ones left on their side. The other party only had 3 void refinement realm spiritual puppets and 20 divine transformation realm spiritual puppets. They stood on the mountain of corpses and the sea of blood in shock. Ningfan had killed another 120 wild beasts. However, the price he had to pay was that he was now severely injured and his blood kept flowing out of his body. Most of the blood was the blood of other ferocious beasts while the rest was Ningfan's blood. After forcefully consuming pills several times, his immortal veins were already on the verge of bursting. He could no longer consume pills. His magic power had been severely depleted, and it was difficult for him to continue. At this stage of the battle, Ningfan felt like he was an arrow at the end of its flight even with his strength. However, the more his magic power was depleted, the clearer the sword intent in his heart became. Traces of sword intent flew out from his palm. Using sword intent to kill enemies did not require any magic power. It was the first time Ningfan heard the call of a flying sword. The Separation Slayer sword that was circling around him was excited and thirsting for battle. The Blood Dragon Demon sword in his storage pouch was thirsty for blood. It desired to devour all the blood demons. Blood Dragon Demon sword. Ningfan patted his storage pouch and took out a blood-red demon sword that was as transparent as crystal. At the moment he took out the sword, he infused all of the baleful chi from 1000 divine transformation realm into its blade. The Blood Dragon Demon sword glowed with a demonic red light that had never been seen before. Faint dragon roars and sword cries could be heard. Roared out a strange scene appeared. At the moment when the Blood Dragon Demon sword glowed with red light, all the blood demons including the 3 void refinement realm spiritual puppets showed unprecedented fear and let out fearful roars. They were blood demons. They were the food of the Blood Dragon clan. Just like the dark beasts in the Black Dragon Pond, they were the food of the black dragons. When Ningfan saw the scenes of fear, he immediately understood what was going on. This Blood Dragon Demon sword was probably the nemesis of the blood demons. With a tap of his feet, Ningfan turned into smoke and disappeared. At the next moment he appeared on the back of a peak-grade wild beast and pierced his sword into its back. The sword tip of the Blood Dragon Demon sword was only 1 meter long. When it pierced into the back of the ferocious beast which was several thousand zhang large, it was like being bitten by a mosquito. It should not hurt or tickle. However, at the moment when the blood sword pierced the back of the ferocious beast, a violent devouring force came from the sword. In just a breath's time, the dignified peak-grade wild beast's blood was directly sucked dry by the blood sword. It fell to the ground and turned into a dried corpse. This sword is bloodthirsty. However, I'm afraid it will only have such a terrifying blood-sucking ability when it's used against blood demons. Ningfan made up his mind. With the help of the blood sword, the remaining 19 wild beasts were not a threat at all. He raised the blood sword in the sky and activated it with his flying sword technique. The blood sword, which was originally a void treasure, could easily pierce through the defense of the blood demons. Once the sword light pierced into the body of a wild beast, even if the sword power was not strong, it could instantly suck the blood of the wild beast dry. In just 10 breaths' time, the remaining wild beasts were all killed by the blood sword. Roar! The 3 void refinement realm spiritual puppets were highly intelligent. They exchanged glances with each other, and all of them had the thought of escaping. All of them were blood demons. As long as the blood sword pierced their bodies, all of their blood would be instantly sucked dry by it. The blood sword carried the dragon might of a heavenly demon blood dragon. A blood dragon of this level could even suck a life immortal realm blood demon to death in an instant. let alone a mere void refinement realm blood demon. If it was in the past, the three beasts would not necessarily be afraid of the blood sword. As long as the blood sword did not pierce through their defense, it would be fine. However, after fighting against the void refinement realm spiritual puppets, the bodies of the three beasts were riddled with thousands of holes, and their blood flowed like a river. At this moment, as long as the blood sword pierces into their wounds, the three beasts would certainly die. Trying to escape? It's too late. Ning Fan smiled coldly. With a single step, he turned into smoke and landed on the back of one of the void refinement realm ferocious beasts. He stared at the dense wounds on its body and ignored its pleading eyes. Then he pierced the sword into its back. A ray of blood-red sword light pierced through the tip of the sword. The void refinement realm ferocious beast let out a deafening wail. Its body shriveled at an unbelievable speed. After 1 breath's time, its blood chi had already become dim. After 2 breaths' time, it was already all skin and bones. After 3 breaths' time, it let out a cry and fell to the ground dead. Ning Fan's eyes were burning with passion. This was his first time killing a void refinement realm expert, even if he had to rely on the power of the blood sword. His footsteps became slightly unstable. The blood sword that had devoured countless beasts' blood seemed to have become more courageous, and attempted to devour Ning Fan again. Ning Fan's eyes turned grim. This sword is really too difficult to control. As his footsteps swayed, he took another step forward and appeared on top of another void refinement realm ferocious beast, killing it with a single slash. Roar! The remaining void refinement realm ferocious beast was terrified. As a blood demon, it did not have the strength to resist the attack of the blood dragon demon sword at all. It tried its best to escape while enduring the attacks of the spiritual puppets. Ning Fan, on the other hand, wanted to chase after it with his traveling light. However, he helplessly realized that he really did not have a single trace of magic power left at the moment. Thus he could no longer chase after it. Kill it! After giving an order to the 3 spiritual puppets, Ning Fan supported himself with his sword. He felt a little unsteady on his feet. It was his second time encountering such a tough battle. As the level of his enemies became higher and higher, it became harder for Ning Fan to kill them unhindered. In the dense forest far away, the miserable cries of the void refinement realm ferocious beasts could be heard. Needless to say, being besieged by the 3 spiritual puppets, its death was inevitable. Ning Fan flicked his sleeves and kept the dragon blood on the ground. Helplessly, he realized that all the ferocious beasts that were killed by the blood sword had all dried up without any dragon blood remaining. There were a total of 120 wild beasts that died in Ning Fan's hands. He had obtained nearly 1,500 drops of dragon whiskers which filled up 15 pots. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, the 3 puppets returned with blank eyes while dragging the gigantic beast carcasses. There were actually 1,000 drops of dragon blood in the carcass of a void refinement realm beast. It was 100 times more than a divine transformation realm beast. Ning Fan could not help but feel a little regretful. If the other 2 void refinement realm beasts were not completely sucked dry by the blood sword, he could still obtain another 2,000 drops of dragon blood. However, this kind of thought was just a thought. It was immediately dispelled by Ning Fan. In that kind of situation, he did not have the time to think about the dragon blood at all. He could only think about his own life and death. After careful calculation, Ning Fan had already collected 107 pots of dragon blood during this trip. In addition to the 3 pots that Old Man Chu gave him previously, he had a total of 110 pots. If all of them are brewed into blood wine, it would be 550,000 units of magic power. 10 years. Ning Fan only needed to wait for 10 years for this blood wine to be brewed. It would definitely not be difficult for him to break through to the void refinement realm. After keeping the dragon blood, Ning Fan spread his spirit sense. Countless eyes of beasts were staring at him from all directions. There were even some void refinement realm ferocious beasts among them. However, none of them dared to offend Ning Fan. To be more precise, they were not afraid of Ning Fan but the blood dragon demon sword. The dragon might of the blood dragon in the demon sword was too strong. It was so strong that they did not dare to resist it. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with surprise. Then he smiled bitterly. It seemed like as long as I have this sword, no beasts in the blood dragon pool would dare to attack me. If I knew this earlier, I would have taken out the demon sword in advance. Perhaps, I wouldn't even need to put up a tough fight. Ningfan gently lifted the tip of the sword and said with cold eyes, "Get lost." This word activated the might of the blood dragon sword. As soon as the dragon might dispersed, the group of beasts immediately shuddered and fled for their lives. It turns out that driving away the blood demons is so easy. As such, Ningfan was no longer in a hurry to return to the first floor. With the blood sword, he would not be in any danger on the second floor. He randomly found a mountain peak and opened up a cave dwelling. He ordered the 3 puppets to guard the entrance of the cave with the blood sword, and set up many restrictive formations inside the cave. Then he shook his cauldron ring and summoned Yuchong. Yuchong was still unconscious. Her face was flushed after being tormented by the Yin plucking finger, and she was moaning in her sleep. Ningfan removed the force from her finger. When the force of the Yin plucking finger dissipated, she finally let out a moan and woke up. Am I dead? Is this the netherworld? She stared at the unfamiliar cave dwelling and felt a little dazed. You're not dead. Ningfan felt a little exhausted. He leaned against the stone wall and sat down. It was his first time exhausting all of his magic power. As soon as he relaxed, he immediately noticed the wounds all over his body. The pain was unbearable, but he just frowned. He did not care about the pain. You saved me? How did you get so badly injured? Yuchong rubbed her eyes and gradually regained consciousness. When she saw Ningfan, who was covered in blood in front of her, her heart suddenly tightened. An indescribable feeling quickly filled her heart. How could it be? How could it be? I looked down on him and despised him so much, but he still risked his life to save me. I'll help you stop the bleeding. No need. Before Ningfan could finish his words, Yuchong grabbed his arm. As he struggled, countless wounds opened up on his body. Realizing that she had made another mistake, Yuchong blamed herself. Ningfan saved her, but she caused his wounds to open up and bleed non-stop. I have some pills here. Take them quickly. I can't take pills anymore. My immortal veins have already been filled to the limit by the pills. You stay here and protect me. I'll take a nap, and the bleeding will stop by itself. Ningfan did not explain the profoundness of the Black Star technique. With the Black Star technique, as long as Yuchong did not torture him, it was just a matter of time before his injuries fully recovered. Exhaustion filled his heart. Ningfan leaned against the stone wall and fell asleep. Yuchong blamed herself even more. She used to boast that she was the daughter of the heavens and had a void fragmentation realm master. However, today, she finally realized how huge the gap between her so-called heavenly pride and Ningfan was. She barely managed to escape from the attacks of the beasts with the help of her profound divinity spiritual equipment, the heaven-deceiving cloak. As for Ningfan, he forcefully broke out of the void refinement realm encirclement by relying on his abilities. She did not know that Ningfan did not escape from the encirclement. Instead, he killed all the ferocious beasts and returned with glory. However, it did not stop her from admiring Ningfan. Yuchong had to admit that Ningfan was extremely strong. Even an early void refinement realm cultivator might not be able to survive after being chased by 3 void refinement realm beasts. Yuchong had to admit that Ningfan looked very handsome when he was sleeping soundly. He did not have a hypocritical smile, nor did he have the cold-bloodedness of the devil path. He was just as quiet as a young master next door. However, when she saw Ningfan's pale face, she felt even more guilty. She recalled her master's words, and the past was still vivid in her mind. Master once said that I'm the reincarnation of an insect king. In my previous life, I was a 100-grass insect king. I was born with a drop of sovereign blood in my body, which is the most nutritious item in the world. However, I only have 1 drop of it in my entire life, and it can bring a man back to life. Unfortunately, no matter how precious this blood is, it can't save a woman or my mother. However, this time, it was all thanks to Zhou Ming that I managed to find the blood dragon moss and survive the calamity. If I don't repay him, it would really go against my conscience. The hope of my mother recovering from her illness, and the hope of me escaping from death are all given to me by him. This blood should be given to him. Looking at Ningfan, who was sleeping soundly, Yu Cheng'er's pretty face blushed for no reason. She gently bit the tip of her tongue, and a drop of golden blood flowed out. She held it in her mouth and it melted with her saliva. She gently bit her lips and finally made an extremely bold decision. While Ningfan was sleeping soundly, she kissed him on the lips and sent the golden blood into his body. Her slippery tongue slid into Ningfan's mouth. This bold action made Yu Cheng'er so embarrassed that she wanted to hide her face. No matter what, she was a revered elder of the Rain Palace and the beloved daughter of the Yu clan. How could she be so shameless as to forcefully kiss a man who was sleeping soundly? Even if it was to repay Ningfan for saving her life, it was still too bold. Fortunately, Ningfan did not know about this matter. Otherwise, Yu Cheng'er really did not know how to explain it. After sending the golden blood into Ningfan's body, Yu Cheng'er was like a frightened deer. She hurriedly withdrew her tongue and tried to separate their lips. Then Ningfan, who was sleeping soundly, responded to her kiss. He hooked his tongue with hers, making her unable to get away. As they sucked and intertwined their tongues, Yu Cheng'er's pretty face turned red. She was on the verge of tears and cursed inwardly. Shameless. This Zhou Ming is too shameless. He's obviously sleeping. How could he still kiss me? That's right. He must have experienced a lot of tenderness in his daily life. He still has a physiological reaction when he's sleeping. He's really too shameless. If she was not sure that Ningfan was really asleep, Yu Cheng'er would almost think that he was deliberately taking advantage of her. Unable to escape from Ningfan's kiss, Yu Cheng'er helplessly lowered her body. She simply stopped trying to escape and let Ningfan take advantage of her. In her heart, she only hoped that Ningfan would not wake up. Otherwise, if he saw her being kissed, she was afraid that she would never be able to sever her relationship with him for the rest of her life. Gradually, Yu Cheng'er could not help but be immersed in this kiss. Her first kiss was gone, but this first kiss was very comfortable. And, inside the cave dwelling, the faint moans of a woman could be heard. Her rapid breathing could also be heard. When Ningfan finally let go of Yu Cheng'er and their lips separated, Yu Cheng'er hurriedly retreated to one side. She looked at Ningfan as if she was looking at a devil. Her small lips were already swollen after being kissed by Ningfan. Her mouth was filled with Ningfan's saliva and smell. Yu Cheng'er sat on the ground in frustration. She thought to herself, "Does this mean that I have lost my chastity after such an entangled kiss? If Master finds out about this, I'm afraid he will beat me to death." Yu Cheng'er was slightly afraid. Chapter 393. Ningfan was not in a deep sleep. In other words, it was impossible for him to have a deep sleep in such a dangerous place. In his dream, he faintly felt a pair of cold, soft lips on his, and he unconsciously responded. He thought that it was just a wet dream, but he did not expect that after their lips parted, his body actually began to heat up. The bloody battle had cost him a lot of essence blood. Although he had the Black Star art to heal him, he still had to consume a lot of essence blood to recover. However, Ningfan suddenly realized that a drop of scalding golden blood came out of nowhere and entered his throat. It flowed into his dantian and turned into a rolling hot current. The missing essence blood had already been replenished at an unbelievable speed. At the same time, the demon crests on Yang Kai's back emitted blazing heat as they absorbed the power of this drop of golden blood. The drop of golden blood contained an enormous amount of magic power. If he were to refine it, he would be able to increase his magic power by at least 10,000 units. Unfortunately, Ningfan was currently in a deep slumber. He could not control and refine the golden blood at will. All he could do was watch the devil marks devour the golden blood. Then promotion. This devil pattern was originally a soldier rank devil pattern, an extremely ordinary stone soldier devil pattern. As soon as he stepped into the general realm, his devil marks evolved into the profound earth devil marks. Moreover, he cultivated it all the way to the peak of the 3rd level of the Jade Life realm. He was just a step away from breaking through to the 4th level, and he had been lacking an opportunity. And this drop of golden blood was that opportunity. Ning Fan could feel that the devil marks on his back were boiling and burning. Above the demon mountain that was surrounded by clouds and mist, a vertical demonic eye slowly appeared. That demonic eye was still closed and hadn't opened. Even so, as soon as his devil eyes appeared, Ning Fan's body refinement realm seemed to have reached a certain point, and he broke through to the 4th level of Jade Life body refinement realm. Coupled with the limits of the corpse devil body, the strength of his physical body was slightly stronger than an ordinary peak Jade Life realm cultivator, even though it was inferior to a golden body realm cultivator. Perhaps even venerated giant, who had the strongest physical body among the 7 venerated beings of the internal sea, was slightly weaker than Ning Fan. Ning Fan was rather speechless. He actually broke through to the body refinement realm in his sleep, but he had no idea where that drop of golden blood came from. What caught his attention the most was the image of the devil eye on the devil mountain on his back. That vertical eye of the devil pupil gave Ning Fan an extremely evil feeling. Ning Fan knew that his cultivation base on the devil Dao was already quite profound. However, he still found it hard to calm his mind in front of that devil eye. The devil chi in that devil eye was too strong and evil. Moreover, Ning Fan had an intuition. If he breaks through to the peak Jade Life realm and attains the golden body refining realm, his devil eyes would certainly open. At that time, his devil marks would advance to the martial rank and allow his devil marks to undergo another qualitative change. Ning Fan wasn't sure if the qualitative change was good or bad. However, he had a vague feeling that if he didn't pay attention to the advancement of the devil marks, he would most likely be devoured by the monstrous devil chi in the devil marks, losing his mind and completely sinking into the abyss of the devil Dao. If that's the case, I must go to the giant devil clan. What exactly does the name Devil Luo mean? I should go there and find out. Ning Fan made up his mind. After the golden blood dissolved, his essence blood recovered and his injuries healed even faster. Another day passed by. When the swelling in his immortal veins disappeared, Ning Fan slowly opened his eyes and woke up. The first thing he did after waking up was to consume a divine injury pill and carefully refine it to erase all of his internal injuries. The cave dwelling was slightly dark. Only a few moonlight stones inlaid on the stone walls emitted a gentle light. While Ning Fan was refining the medicinal power, he glanced around and saw Yu Chong, hugging her knees and curling up in front of him. She looked a little cold and her face was slightly pale. It seemed like her bloodline was damaged. After thinking about it carefully, Ning Fan's face lit up. That mysterious drop of golden blood was most likely given to him by Yu Chong. Looking at Yu Chong's slightly swollen lips, Ning Fan could imagine how this little girl absorbed the golden blood. Touching his lips, Ning Fan's eyes revealed a strange expression. It seemed like he was forcefully kissed by this little girl when he was sleeping. Yu Chong, Ning Fan muttered to himself. He rose to his feet and waved his sleeves, sprinkling rays of black starlight onto Yu Chong, to help her heal her injuries. Then he patted his storage pouch and took out a set of white robes to change his blood-stained clothes. After that, he took out a fox fur coat made from the skin of a divine transformation realm demon and draped it over Yu Chong's body. After that, he stopped talking and continued to consume the divine injury pill and spirit restoration pill. Then he adjusted his condition and gradually recovered to his peak state. After an unknown period of time, Yu Chong moaned and woke up. Her body swayed slightly, and the fox fur coat slipped off her body. Immediately, her cheeks turned red. This fox fur coat is definitely not hers. Thank you. Yu Chong was not a fool. She naturally knew that it was Ning Fan's concern. Thus, she thanked him uneasily. Only verbal thanks. Ning Fan's lips curled into an inexplicable smile. This little girl owed Ning Fan more than just a word of thanks. Why you? What else do you want? You just covered me with a fox fur coat. Do you still expect me to repay you with my body? Yu Chong's eyes were a little evasive. No. I saved your life. Aren't you going to repay me? Ning Fan deliberately said. Zhou Ming. Who would ask for a reward after saving someone's life? You have no manners at all. Yu Chong rolled her eyes at Ning Fan. Manners? I saved you and you repay me. It's a matter of course. What does it have to do with manners? Or are you saying that Miss Yu Chong doesn't know how to repay my kindness, and you think that it's a matter of course for me to save you? I don't think so. I have already repaid you. Yu Chong paused halfway through her words. Her face turned red and she could not continue her sentence. The way she repaid Ning Fan was a little embarrassing. It was fine for her to give him the blood of the insect's sovereign, but she just had to kiss him forcefully. How could she say it out loud? You have already repaid me. Why don't I know how you repaid me? No. I haven't repaid you yet. Stop asking. Yu Chong was secretly upset. That drop of golden blood had probably been given to Ning Fan for nothing. Nothing good would come out of it. Forget it. Ning Fan saved her life and also saved her mother's life at the same time. It could be said that he had saved her twice. Even if she had to repay him twice, it was only right. As long as she did not repay him with her body, there was no harm in repaying him once more. How do you want me to repay you? I also have a few types of high-grade Fifth Revolution pills with me. Even if you want the cultivation methods of my Yu clan, I can also secretly give them to you. I don't lack high-grade Fifth Revolution pills. As for the cultivation methods of your Yu clan, do you think I will be interested in them? Ning Fan's eyelids twitched. His eyes fell upon Yu Chong's exquisite and delicate body. Then he raised his finger and pointed at her breasts. I want this. Zizhou, don't go too far. You rascal. You're shameless. Yu Chong covered her breasts with her hands and felt a chill run down her spine. If Ning Fan wants her body, she would never give it to him even if she dies. Ning Fan's smile became even wider. Without saying anything else, he approached Yu Chong step by step and forced her to the corner of the wall. Yu Chong's expression became flustered. What are you trying to do? I'm here to get my reward for saving you. As soon as he finished speaking, Ning Fan's fingertip moved towards Yu Chong's neck. Yu Chong was so frightened that she closed her eyes. However, she knew that she could not resist Ning Fan at all. She only felt the button on her robe being undone and her cloak slid down. Then, she realized that Ning Fan was actually taking off her clothes. In her embarrassment and anger, she really wished that she could cut Ning Fan with her sword. However, she also knew that she was no match for him no matter what. In her panic, there was also a hint of anticipation. It seemed like there were some thoughts that even she could not understand. However, she did not expect that after Ning Fan took off her cloak, he actually did not do anything else. He just looked at her with interest as if he was looking at a frightened deer. What are you afraid of? Ning Fan intentionally asked. Of course, I'm afraid that you'll do something to me. Seeing that Ning Fan did not do anything else, Yu Chong mustered her courage and opened her eyes. What she saw was that after Ning Fan took off her cloak and spiritual equipment, he actually took a few steps back. It seemed like he did not have the intention to violate her further. Why did you take off my cloak? She had some guesses, but she asked with uncertainty. I've already told you. This cloak is my reward. Profound divinity spiritual equipment, huh? That's something that only Void Fragmentation Realm old monsters are qualified to use. Did your master give it to you? What? The reward you mentioned is this cloak and not me? Yu Chong heaved a sigh of relief. However, her pretty face immediately turned awkward. Compared to losing his innocence, losing a cloak was naturally a small matter. However, no matter what, this cloak was still a profound divinity spiritual equipment. It was given to her by her 4 Void Fragmentation Realm Masters. She would not dare to simply give it to someone else. If her master asked, she wouldn't be able to answer. Divine Transformation Realm Cultivators mostly use the Earth Profound Realm. Void Refinement Realm Cultivators use the Heaven Profound Realm, and Void Fragmentation Realm Cultivators use the Divine Profound Realm. This cloak was quite valuable. You don't want to give it to me? Or do you think that your life is less valuable than a cloak? Ning Fan tried to provoke him. Of course my life is more valuable than the heaven-deceiving cloak. I'll give it to you. But in this case, we don't owe each other anything. All right. Ning Fan agreed without hesitation. He liked this cloak very much. The effect of this heaven-deceiving cloak was to conceal one's body. If one were to refine this spiritual equipment, Even the spirit sense of a void fragmentation old monster would not be able to detect him. With Yu Chong-er's cultivation base, she was unable to refine this spiritual equipment. Just wearing it on her body was enough for her to flee for a few days in the second floor. It was enough to show how powerful this spiritual equipment was. Even though he had lost a spiritual puppet and several of them were severely injured, he had obtained quite a lot of dragon blood in exchange for a drop of golden blood and a profound divinity spiritual equipment. Ning Fan certainly did not suffer a loss. However, when he agreed to Yu Chong-er's request without hesitation, he did not notice a hint of disappointment flashing across her eyes. "We don't owe each other anything. He's actually willing to be even with me." The thoughts of young girls were always very complicated. Yu Chong-er shook her head and cleared her mind. Then she asked hesitantly, "Are we going back to the first floor?" She was a little scared. After all, in order to steal the blood dragon moss, she had angered the king beast and brought a fatal disaster to her elder brother and the other revered elders. She was afraid that those people would not let her go after they return. "Are you very scared? Speaking of which, why did you go to the forest of king beasts to steal the herbs? Do you know that your elder brother was almost killed because of you?" Ning Fan asked in surprise. He just thought that this little girl was spoiled and impulsive. It turned out that she would also be afraid when she did something wrong. "I don't know. At first, I thought that with the heaven-deceiving cloak, I wouldn't be discovered by the king beast as long as I'm careful. This is the blood dragon moss. It's the herb used to cure my mother's illness. Our Yu clan has been searching for it for hundreds of years, but we have never found a single stalk. I didn't expect to see it here. That's why I didn't think too much at that time. I just thought that I must steal this herb." "Zhou Ming, does my elder brother hate me to death?" Yu Chong-er lowered her head. Her expression could not be seen clearly. Her shoulders were trembling slightly. She knew that she had made a mistake. However, if she had to do it again, she would still take the risk for her mother. Ning Fan could not help but fall into silence. This Yu Chong-er might be a little willful, but her nature was not bad. "Don't worry. None of them lost their lives. I've already saved them. If we return to the first floor, they won't dare to blame you for my sake. However, there are still 19 days before we leave the Dragon Pond. I want to continue fighting on the second floor during these 19 days. It's meaningless for us to return to the first floor. Are you crazy? The second floor is so dangerous." Yu Chong-er was exasperated. She thought to herself, is Ning Fan's brain made of wood? Does he not know how dangerous the second floor is? He really doesn't know how terrifying the scene of his white robes bathed in blood was. "It's all right. I have a way to protect myself. Besides, if I can refine this heaven-deceiving cloak, I can even explore the third floor." Ning Fan was not joking. After refining the heaven-deceiving cloak, he could deceive the spirit sense of the void fragmentation realm and sneak into the blood dragon pond. No demon would be able to detect him. Even if he could not refine the cloak, he still had the blood dragon demon sword. It was still possible for him to roam freely in the second floor. As for his safety, he did not need to worry about it at all. However, regarding the blood dragon demon sword, Ning Fan would certainly not explain it to Yu Chong-er. The heaven-deceiving cloak? That's a profound divinity spiritual equipment. Only void fragmentation realm experts can refine it into their bodies. Yu Chong-er looked at Ning Fan with uncertainty. She did not think that Ning Fan could refine the profound divinity spiritual equipment. Void fragmentation realm, huh? It's not necessarily impossible for me to refine it. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with confidence. He had already comprehended the 3 void fragmentation realm techniques. Every single thing he did was not earth-shattering. Refining a spiritual equipment might be extremely difficult, but it was not impossible. At the very least, he could give it a try. His confident gaze fell upon Yu Chong-er's beautiful eyes. Immediately, the latter averted her gaze. Conceit would make a person appear arrogant, while confidence would make a person appear infinitely charming. At this moment, Ning Fan's eyes could make one's heart tremble. Perhaps he can really do it. Yu Chong-er could not help but let her imagination run wild. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.